now everybody, we are going to move into screenshot territory. And for that, I shall move us to the screenshots over here. I shall stop as soon as we are getting to yours. And of course, both of you can talk to your wonderful screenshots. Here we are with one of yours, Cheetytarah, the beautiful mermaid, playing a little bit with
That one was fun. I enjoyed that.
You did. It's fascinating. And there, how did you go about that one? And also, I should note, or we should note, this is a screenshot only, right?
Yep, it was for the DDA design snaps.
Mm.
It was like a kind of open theme. I think there's an open theme. Yeah, it's an open theme one just now as well. But I quite like those. I always try and enter them. I don't always manage it, but it was really just I decided I wanted to dress up the statue, but I didn't have a clue as what. So I had like just loads of stuff on me, just like trying out different things. And it was the big pink mushroom. I can't remember the name. We were talking about it earlier. And I was just sort of, playing around with it. And I was like, hey, that looks like a tail. And that was it. A mermaid was created. So
Perfect. Oh, this is so lovely. And yes, absolutely genius, as Vuben is commenting here. And this is, of course, it's not visitable, Vuben. This is screenshot only. It's so beautiful. And yeah, I love also the colors there. And this is such a glorious screenshot. Glorious background, too. Really helps this one stand out a lot. Yeah, and Hayden, you're absolutely right. The colors and composition is superb.
thank you.
Really, also the face.
The ship was quite difficult, but it was like a wee challenge because there is a wee ship in the game. Can't remember what it's called, but it was far too small. I was like, okay, we're gonna have to make one. Oh no! But yeah, it was good fun.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love hearing that it is that this one was good fun for you, and you had a grand time also designing the ship and creating it. Yeah, they're small. I think there's one that I mean it's a miniature, right? But I don't know that it would be fitting in the hands there.
The Bella statue is so
No.
big.
Yeah, so large
She's
indeed.
massive. She's too big. But yeah,
Big
I do
lady.
like dressing up like Bella. She's a lot of fun.
It looks really stunning. Also, really love what you've done with the statue there and the contrast in the face. Like that's what I mean by try to light your statues well, people, because it helps with the contours, makes them stand out a little bit more. Oh, and the color choices again, very nice. Going with a bit of red and slight bluish, greenish hues, very light. So lovely.
Thank you.
So
I like a good screenshot. I like a screenshot contest.
really
Really fun.
of
And
course.
again, you get to recycle all your items. So
Very frugal, very perfect for that. Absolutely stunning. I shall swap to the next one. This one. Look, everybody. Oh, I love this one. He's so cute.
which one is it? I can't actually see them.
Oh, the peacock.
Oh, right. I see.
Oh, also, how long did it take you for the mermaid? How long were you maneuvering around with that one?
I think it was like 1 or 2 nights. It went quite fast. Like I think the ship slowed me down a wee bit, trying to figure out what would work. But no, that one just it all came together quite fast.
Oh, that's interesting. So for screenshots, it doesn't always take you all that long. That's great. That's really great because, of course, you do have a little bit of wiggle room then if you are creating something like that. And then, of course, you go about recycling and utilizing pieces. That's fantastic. I love that.
Yep, I do like to recycle. And
Mm.
also because they're so expensive, these items, like I know some people do buy lots and lots of them, but I just couldn't, I'm lucky if I get one. So like I tend to have one of everything of that sort of the crown stuff.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if you were to use that in a house, then that's it. It's placed there and you can't play with it anymore. I just
Mm.
like to play with all the shinies. So
You must, of course.
yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. I totally get that. Right. Oh my goodness. Yeah, totally makes a lot of sense. And yeah, Hayden, that is so true. Um, oh, also, thank you so much for joining, Hayden. And of course, sleep tight if it's bedtime. Sleep tight. Have wonderful dreams and a lovely day tomorrow. Um, and yeah, it's an amazing screenshot build, this one as well. The wonderful peacock. Do you know how long it took you, the peacock?
That one was quite tricky because I had only really just been on the server for a couple of months.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that was like the first kind of creaturey thing I managed, I
Oh.
think. So it was like trying to get enough of the items in the first place, like the pearls. That's something I collect. I quite like those. So yeah, that one was quite tricky. Quite tricky.
Mm.
So it took quite a while. What was it for? It was the creature screenshot for the housing network. Discord, that's what it
Oh.
was. So I don't remember how long the entry is for that. I think it's over a month, isn't it? Like 2 months, I think we get for that. I'm
Mm.
not sure. I can't remember, but yeah, it took me pretty much all the time because, of course, it didn't start working at first. Like again, it was trying lots of different items and just seeing what would work. So yeah, that
Yeah.
one was kind of footery.
Fitty. And I mean, I think it's so magnificent that you can see the feathers, and they are very iconic, of course, for a peacock.
Mm.
And I really love what you've done there. Also, the construction of the beak, and I mean, is so marvelous. The items that you're using to create this beautiful, glorious look on the beautiful peacock.
It's like a collection of a lot of my favourite items, like the ivory polished thingy and the
Ah,
like the item I used for the eye. Like I tend to always go for the same items over and over.
makes
Just some
sense.
items that I really like. Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. So I wouldn't, I wouldn't worry about using a similar approach, particularly to eyes. When something works, it works, and you can
Yeah.
just go with it. Nothing wrong with that at all, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the shiny eyes.
Yeah, me too. I mean, some designers have managed to create eyes that move.
Oh,
Oh,
that's clever.
is very clever. Some of you have gone out of your way to find ways in which you can help us be amazed at all the gloriousness of, all the glorious, wonderful ways in which you can design, yeah, a magnificent look and somebody staring at you. It's just, I'm so thrilled seeing these
And I
things.
have technically some in my Cthulhu house, but they're not attached to anybody.
Oh, nothing wrong with that either. Sometimes there is this gruesome little item that some people put into their more darker builds. I usually say on stream when I visit and I see them, I usually go like, "Oh, look, somebody needs to keep an eye on things, or needs an extra hand." It certainly works for some people to go about it that way. Oh, and this is so shiny, the eye, right? He looks right at you, the wonderful peacock. Also,
Yeah, I like the shiny eyes. The lights reflect on them as well, so you get like the wee light spots. So
yeah,
it's kind of like it adds a wee bit more realism, I think.
it does. It certainly does. And a little bit movement too. And the feathers, the peacock feathers, I think they also add a little bit of movement, which is absolutely fantastic to have. And I also really love the little feathery pieces you added around the head, because they do have a little bit of a crown going on their head, right? The little peacocks. Is very sweet. You do notice right away what it is. You don't necessarily need a description for this one either. I mean, this is fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
I really love it. It's so sweet. Also, again, wonderful dark background helps the birdie stand out.
Like I use a lot of those Cold Harbour rocks. And see, that's the thing. I know that with add-ons, you can have that background like easier, but yeah, I still use Cold Harbour rocks.
Nothing wrong with that. I think a lot of people go for Cold Harbor rocks still. Also, I will say that maybe over and over again, and I repeat myself with that. If you light the Cold Harbor surreal estate rocks with different lights, they're not black at all. You can tease out a lot from them.
Yeah, there's some that are quite bluey as well. They've
Yes.
got kind of sparkle, almost like a marbly look to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they can be like the night sky if you light them in a specific way. Or sink in one of those beautiful vines from Southern Elsewhere. I'm sure all of you know. You sink that in and you have a wonderful, glorious night sky with stars sparkling above.
Yeah, it's a handy item, very handy, especially in screenshots when you don't want any clutter in the background. Like a lot of people, their screenshots, they like them to be really busy and whatnot, but I think I like mine quite minimal.
Yeah.
It's just a personal preference, you know.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I quite like them like that.
You know, I think that it does help the piece stand out a little bit more. If the background isn't, I mean, it is called background for a reason, right? It is supposed to be in the background, in fact. So it makes a lot of sense to have it muted and just be there to help what's in the forefront to stand out more. And yes, Ruben, greens and blues in the rocks, the Cold Harbor rocks, 100%.
Yeah, they're nice and grainy and sparkly.
Yes. It's such lovely texture too. I think you can also evoke a little bit of a watery feel. I mean, if you add a waterfall onto them, then of course you have a watery feel. But just fiddle about with a bit of lighting, and you see what magic the Cold Harbor rocks can bring to you. Also, good evening, Mavis. Welcome. Oh, so fantastic. I shall move on to the next one. Oh, this is the little froggy one.
Oh, the frog was fun. I do love that item. I really do. It's the vampiric container yellow liquid for the yellow.
That's my
It's an absolute obsession, and it's not normal, but it's okay. Yeah, I just love the item. It's just so shiny.
It is, and look at that, people. What can you do with it? Now you know. Also, yes, exactly, Toad, a froggy friend. Oh, he's the cutest, indeed. And Mavis says, wow, and Ruben says, dang. And this is so wonderful to hear that it has been so much fun for you. This is fantastic.
Brilliant item. I absolutely love it. And you know, it seems excessive, but on the NA server, I have over 1,400 of them.
Wow. No, it's not excessive at all.
I
Wow.
couldn't stop. Yeah, it was a good fun times. That witches event was, yeah, I was so happy just to be like hoarding all the shiny jug. It was great.
I totally get it. I absolutely get it because, you know, if you have a good use for them and if you want to play around with them, you kind of need a lot of them, right?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
oh,
Definitely. And I've not really even done, like, I'm planning a couple of big builds with them, but I just want, there's just so much stuff that I want to always build that I haven't got to it yet. So they're all just sitting there waiting, you know.
oh,
I'll
yeah.
get it done eventually. But yeah, I'm really glad. And it was so easy to get them on PC because, like, obviously my old server on Xbox, I was Xbox EU, which is very quiet. You know, it's not a big populated server. So I was struggling to find enough of them all the time. I was having to go through like crown sellers just to get enough for a build. So when I came to PC and they were everywhere, it was so exciting.
Oh, this is so glorious. Also, that it sweetened up the transition from Xbox to PC for you a little bit because they were more available to you. This is lovely. I love that. Need to hear
Yeah,
more of that.
shopping on PC is definitely fun. Like, you know, because you can find anything. And you know, it's funny, I was finding furnishing plans and things that I'd never even heard of. Like I'd never seen before. I was like, oh, okay. It was like the, you know, the high elf tapestry things. It's like they're bright yellow.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah, I'd never seen that before, and I came and I was like, wow! Like, just because there's so much more people that
Yeah.
there's more on sale. So yeah, shopping is fun. I like it a lot on PC.
This is lovely. This is so lovely to hear, you know. And maybe also something for those of you who are still on Xbox or PlayStation. If you want to venture into PC, this might be for you. Good news. That
Definitely fun.
there is, you know, a sweet part to it as well, not just parting with the console. This is, and I love that you're utilizing something some people would find rather grimy or shy away from it. And you're utilizing it to create something so beautiful. And, you know, I would want to boop the little snoot and say hello. And it's such a sweet little froggy. Also,
Yeah, item's really, really underrated. Like a lot of people would just overlook it, but
yes.
it has this, like, it's got this amazing sort of, like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like a shadowy effect. So when you sink one into another one, you get this really dark black, like, shadow. They're just fabulous. They're so much fun. It's a great item. And like on PCNA, if anybody did want to like have a lot of them at once to play with them, I can send you some. Like I have more than I will ever need. You know, because the more of them you have, the more fun, because like you can just sink loads in together. And if you sink in like 4 together, it makes perfect black. So you can have like perfect black circles. So yeah, it's a really good item.
Oh, look at that, everybody. Maybe you didn't know this, and this is very good information for you. If you want to have a go, message Cheetytarah and you can have a go at it. This is absolutely fantastic. I really love that. What a brilliant idea. Also, Ruben was saying these screenshots are fantastic.
Thank you very much.
I agree, Ruben. I agree. They are indeed fantastic.
I do enjoy making screenshots. I think I probably enjoy them more than the actual visitable houses. You know, that maybe sounds a wee bit weird to a lot of people, but I think I do. Because what I do is I mark the spot on the ground, okay, and then I stand on it, and for the whole time I just don't move. I just build from that one perspective. And I don't know, there's just something really fun about it. Like it's really nice. Because it means that things, you know, if you're having to sink things in and it might be really, really messy at the back, but nobody will ever see it because you've stood in the one spot, you've built it all, and then you've taken a picture all from the very one spot. So it's like, it's a fun way of doing housing. Like, I really enjoy a screenshot.
Oh, yeah. Also, very good point to make, because maybe it's also a good segue into housing. Because if you can, and this is also frugal because as we said before, you can recycle. Um,
Yep.
And also property-wise, right? For some people, they might not have all the houses available to them, so
Yeah.
it might be a good point for them to try around with screenshots, because then you can have, you know, some exercise, if that makes sense, some practice with, how to maneuver around with the tools that you're given, and try building a little bit and try fiddling about with specific items and furnishing pieces, and see what works, and also play with color and light maybe. And
Definitely.
and you, as you said, you take a screenshot when you're done, and then you can just scrap everything and start
Yep.
fresh. And I think that is a very nice, as I said, segue into housing, because it doesn't force you to keep a house open.
Yep. And you're not losing anything, because like you said, you're using every item again, so there's no loss.
Indeed. And Ruben is mentioning art is art, whichever canvas you use. Indeed. Very much so. Yeah. I love the froggy. I could stare at him for ages. It's so shiny too, right? He looks at us and he just glows and looks just so beautiful and glorious.
It's such a good item. Like, if you've never thought to use it, just trust me, just play around with them and see. You'll see what I mean. Like, the effect on them is so unique. I've never, like, there isn't a single other item that does that in the game that I know of. They're just a lot of fun.
Would you say this is your favorite item in the game?
Probably, yep.
Really? Look at that, everybody. This is so sweet. Yeah, I love that. This is fantastic. Some people would say, yeah, I also have one or two favorite items, but they're not as mundane. And I'm saying mundane in a charitable way here. It's just it's so
Like an
lovely.
item you would overlook. Definitely, I definitely agree.
So beautiful. So the inspiration for this one was for the competition, for the screenshot.
I don't think that one was for anything. I
Oh,
think I just made it. Like,
you
these
just
were
made
all
it.
the yellow
Perfect.
ones. Like, they were all back on Xbox. No, I
Ah,
think I was just playing with the item. I don't think it was for anything. I can't remember.
I mean, it was for
Yeah.
you, of course,
It was
and
just for fun.
for
For fun
fun,
and science.
and fun. Yeah, it's perfect. I love it. It's so sweet. Such a, and I think also highlighting this is on Xbox. So this is important also to note for those of you. Also, little reminder for those of you: check your time. Maybe you still have to get the daily rewards. Do get your daily rewards, everybody. They're very good this month.
Oh yeah, the crates, aren't they?
Yeah. Just a gentle reminder: do get them. And also gentle reminder that on the house folio we do have one streamer who is catering to PS, so PlayStation and Xbox. So if you do have Xbox or PlayStation, then and you only play on those two, you can hit up Tar, and Tar will certainly be happy to tour your builds as well on stream. So
Yeah, I've never seen anybody touring like PlayStation builds before, so that I'm going to definitely have to look out for that, because I've always wanted to see them. It's like the one server that has never really been covered by anyone. So that's really exciting.
we do have Tar, as I said, on the house folio. I would, I mean, I'm sure that you're not the only person coming from Xbox or console in general. And I just want to remind people that if you are on console or have been on console and just transitioned to PC, but you still have a few things that you would like to show, or a few builds that you'd like to show on console, do hit Tar up, and they're very happy to cover that. It's so nice to have someone able to cover console as well. It's so nice.
Yeah, that's great. Yep.
So I'm going to move to the next one. This is the bee, everybody.
Oh, the bee. Again, I don't think that one was for anything. It was just for fun and science. You know, just me playing with the yellow item.
It's so beautiful. The big eyes, everybody. Look. It's such a cute little fella. I want to boop the nose, of course. Do you remember how long it took you?
That one was pretty fast. Yeah, that was. I think I'd done that in a Moon Sugar Meadow, so like the background was just really easy because it was all blank. So I just stuck up a fence. No, it was really fast. There's not that many items in that one. I can't remember how many now, but it was quite minimum.
Oh,
So yeah, it was
wonderful.
pretty quick.
It just is so fantastic, and there's also so much movement there. It's a very jolly bee indeed, Toad. I agree. The happy face, it's just so glorious, and shiny eyes, and just the lighting is so wonderful on this one, and not just on the bee, but the background as well. I think it's really elegant. It's so playful, very happy as well.
Thank you.
These are really impressive, Cheety, says Ruben.
Oh, thank you very much.
This is so cute. Yeah, I also just want to go about and boop the little snoot and say hello to. I'm sorry, and say hello to the little bee. Yes, Lemoonleaf. The eyes are so sweet.
Yeah, I like the shiny eyes. I always try and make them shiny.
Very shiny. And Mavis is saying that they love the idea of using these curtains for wings. Yes, very good point. Yeah, what can you use for wings, everybody? What do you think?
Wings can be hard. Like it depends on the size you're working with as well.
Right. So with the dragon in the exercised Coven Cottage that we've, of course, just seen, very different kind of wings, different scale.
Yep.
Oh, it's Toad time. Okay, Toad timer's up. All right, sleep tight, Toad. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you will dream of this beautiful, glorious, happy face and have a glorious day tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, this is so darling. And I love that. This is also from Xbox, everybody. I really love that you're playing around with shapes a little bit and looking at what item does what and how you can tease it out a little bit more and how you can work the antennas and the little feet and everything. It's just magnificent.
Thank you.
So fiddly.
It was fun.
It was fun. I'm so glad. And also it's a fast build, which is also quite nice. And again, you take a screenshot and then you can move on.
Yep. And you've got the screenshot forever, so there's
Yeah.
no loss.
No loss at all.
It's a great way to go about it.
It's what a great lesson here for everybody. That yes, of course, you can go about it like this and then have a screenshot for eternity and still build in the Moon Sugar Meadow thereafter.
Yep.
Oh, so sweet. I shall go to the next one. This is the wonderful, glorious cow.
Oh, that one was fun too. Yeah, I done that one. That was one of the last things I built on Xbox, and it was when J Heart was coming over. He was going to start doing tours on Xbox, and I was like, well, I've got to build a cow. Like, obviously. So that's how that one came around. I just thought, yep, I'll just make a big giant cow.
Yeah, and it is such a. It's such a. Also, I want to go boop that snoot. And it's interesting, the pieces that you're using. You do have a hedge. You do have a little bit of a background there, right? And he's looking across from there.
That one was actually visitable. That was the Moon Sugar Meadow, so I must have done the bee not too long before that. the whole thing was like I had some chicken huts, and with the yellow item that I like, I'd built some giant corn stalks.
Ah,
So yeah, that one was 700 slots. Not
wow.
all cow though, obviously. Like the cow took up a lot, but it was a visitable one for a change.
Oh, wow. So everybody, I hope you noticed this one was visitable too. Of course, I mean, if Jay Hart was going to visit Xbox and you wanted to have something for him to look at, of course, makes sense that it is going to be visitable. Oh,
And a
look at
giant
those.
cow, of course.
Yes.
Like
And
it
look at
had to be.
those. Yeah, those eyes. I'm so mesmerized by them and the shagginess of the ears. And, it reminds me a lot of the Highland cows.
Yeah, I was kind of going for that. Like, obviously, I couldn't get any item that was long enough, really. Maybe there's stuff now that could be used for that. I'm not sure. But yeah, there was the kind of Highland cow I was going for.
I mean, there is definitely shagginess there.
hmm
So I do see it. And of course, the coat. I mean, they do have a little bit. I think they meander a little bit more into reddish brownish tones, but I think there are also a lot of more going into golden yellow colors as
hmm
well. So I totally see it, what you're going for. And yeah, I think probably need a little bit more shagginess, if that makes sense. But
Yeah, I
I still
definitely. If
think,
the item was longer, it would have been great, or if there was like a vine or something that would have. But at the time, there just wasn't. I'm not even sure what I could use now. Like, I can't
mm,
think of anything. But yeah, you use what you've got, I suppose.
yeah, of course you do. And what's available, right? And
Yeah.
of course, on Xbox, that must have been a bit more difficult. Uh,
Again, it's one of the items from the witches event.
right.
I seem to collect everything from that event. It's like my favourite one. So it was quite hard as well to get hold of enough of the crop wheat stack thingies, whatever they're called.
Right.
Whereas on PC, like it's so easy to buy them. They're
Yeah, it
everywhere.
is.
But it's
Absolutely.
difficult on a quiet server. It makes it much harder.
Absolutely. And so I'm asking how long it takes or how long this one took for you.
Um, it wasn't too long actually. Like again, collecting the item takes a while, but
hmm
no, that one it went together. Like it built itself. Really, it was quite fast.
Mm. That's wonderful. It's so glorious. I mean, collecting items. I have heard this before from others that the actual building time isn't that long, but getting
Mhm.
all the items it does take longer.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
So the Moonleaf is saying that she finds the lighting and the shading to be so amazing.
Thank you.
And Mavis is mentioning that they like the atmosphere here so much. This is so beautiful.
Mhm.
You just want to go ahead across the hedge and give him a big hug.
Yeah, it
Mm,
was quite a cheery build that one. I had a lot of like big custom flowers and things there as
mm.
well. It was a happy general theme going on, I think.
I think that's so so magnificent. Has such a cute nose too. You just want to go and poop. Beautiful lips as well. Just such a darling. I'm sure that when Jayad saw that, he must have giggled and probably had the best time seeing this one staring at him. So
Hopefully it
sweet.
wasn't too scary.
Oh,
It's
it's
like,
just
whoa, she's built a giant cow for me. Okay.
don't think it's scary at all. Yes, and
Yeah.
Mavis is also mentioning the ears are so well made. Yes, they are. They are, in fact, are. The sculpturing on the head in general is very nicely done. I really love this. It's very homogeneous and very grippy. Like, I mean, the texture really stands out, and it feels like you can, if you reach across, your fingers would sink into the beautiful fur and shagginess of this wonderful cow
Mhm.
looking at you. At least that's the feel that I would get from it. Oh,
Yeah, a kind of a fluffy cow.
fluffy cow, yes. I mean, there are fluffy cows, bison, and in some national parks, they tell people don't pet the fluffy cows. That's what I was thinking of. Is because you do not want to mess with them. But Highland cows, very different demeanor. Oh, so sweet. Oh, such a lovely one. I shall move to the next one, I think. Yeah, this might be the last one for you. This is the wonderful elephant.
Oh, that was an accidental elephant.
An accidental elephant.
Yep, accident. It didn't even. I don't even think it survived one day. I think it had to. I'll explain. I was trying to build something kind of wintry, like a wintry creature in the Still Waters retreats. This was again on Xbox. And the item I've used there is it's the wood elf vase, the blue one, and I really like that item. Like it's just so nice. So I was playing around with that, and I was like, oh, this looks like an elephant's trunk. So then, of course, I had to finish it, and then I was like, okay, I quite like this, but it's in the complete wrong house. It's surrounded by ice. It's not going to work. So I had to take him back down.
Oh, that's quite sad, but at the same time, I mean, you build a little bit around him, so it doesn't look like he is in the wrong house.
Yeah, I was like, I'll need to take a picture, but it looks so out of place. So it was just a quick throw together, like. Yeah.
Oh, also looks very shaggy, The trunk is very elegantly sculptured, and the movement in it is very nice. Also, again, shiny eyes, everybody. Oh,
I do like those.
They're so beautiful.
I sometimes wish there was a slightly bigger size of, like, something like that that's shiny. I'm always kind of on the lookout for other things to use for the eyes. Yeah,
I mean,
they are small. They're quite a tiny item.
That's true. It's true, but that's why I'm saying that maybe playing around with a few different items can help see what eyes can be, or what you can turn into eyes. I think there's a lot going on with eyes, and I think
people tend to, like, a lot of people go for glowy eyes, which looks really good as well.
Yeah.
Probably most people go for glowy items, but I do prefer shiny personally.
I think that is also closer to how eyes behave in the real world, because they do tend to be shiny when light hits them, right? So they usually don't tend to glow all that much.
Yeah.
So yeah, that in my opinion plays a little bit more into the organic feel of the sculpturing of creatures, and how you go about them, and staying a bit closer to that particular property of creatures.
Yep.
I'm not sure if it would work with glowy eyes, even. I don't think it would.
Yeah, I think it depends on the creature people are building. Like if it's a sort of mythical feel.
Yeah, true.
Glowy is perfect, obviously. But yeah, I tend to make creatures from in real life, if that makes sense. Like, it's
And there, of course, it makes sense to stay closer to the inspiration. Yeah. I mean, of course, you could argue that with a mythical creature like maybe a unicorn or a dragon, or something that doesn't, or a werewolf that doesn't exist in the real world, then you can certainly do with wonderful glowy eyes that
definitely can look really good.
Yeah. Oh, this is so sweet. I mean, you kind of want to go and try to say hello. Booping noses there is different, but I certainly would try to say hello. Oh, so cute. Also interesting that you're playing around with so many different items to see what they can be.
I think in the ceramics are quite good for creatures, because you'll get a set and they'll come in different sizes, like the wood elf ones. I do quite like that. I find ceramics is always like my sort of go-to. Like if I don't know what to use, there'll probably be a ceramic that I can use, like a vase or whatever. They're very handy. Very handy.
Oh yeah, makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense, everybody. I really adore this. Also, this whole approach with the screenshots and the frugalness of it. And I mean, you're saying this in particular is an accidental elephant in the wrong place.
Yep.
So you had to take a screenshot, of course.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite interesting. You know, sometimes you see an animal in the wrong place, or you could see an animal in the wrong place and you must take a screenshot, of course, because it's so absurd.
I don't even know what I was trying to build. I was really literally just playing around with items, just to see what happened. An elephant happened. Weird.
But
There we
this
go.
is wonderful. You know, sometimes it's a frustrating, laborious task to work yourself through a difficult dragon build, and sometimes an accidental elephant springs forth an experiment of going about what can you do with particular ceramics and in all different shapes and sizes. I think that's marvelous.
Yeah, it's fun when they just sort of pop out of nowhere. You're like, oh, it's that elephant. Okay.
Interesting creative process as well in that. Also going for the creature here in the screenshots, they are of course the centers and the focal points, which is fantastic and really marvelous. And you do also see a little bit of an evolution or transition in building. I really appreciate them all. And I think if anybody is curious about more screenshots, I would encourage you to go visit the house folio.
Yeah, I love that Discord because there's just so many screenshots to look at. You'll be there for hours. It's a good time.
And it is a wonderful, really a wonderful place. And I mean, I'm not sure why the command isn't working again. This is so annoying. I was just going to give you guys the link, but anyways, apparently I have to fiddle about with it at a later time, I think. Yeah, so the house folio definitely is such a beautiful place to get inspiration and to have a look around. And there, of course, you will see the showcase for Cheetytarah. There are more screenshots, by the way, if you're curious. Everybody go visit, peruse around. Those houses that can be visited, go visit, have a look around. Send only kind messages of appreciation. Maybe you have questions too, then ask them. And maybe you also can comment on what you experience when you visit and what you come away with in those builds, everybody. Oh my, this has been a wild ride, Cheetytarah.
Thank you very much for visiting all the places.
I'm
making
so
all the
happy
content.
to. It's my distinct pleasure to do this. Thank you so much for indulging all my questions and for sticking with it for such a long time too. Everybody, we are transitioning now into Sorries builds. We are going first into screenshots, and there are a few GIFs as well. Here we are with a beautiful dragon. Maybe some of you have seen it.
Many people have been in the house and have not seen it.
Really?
This is the dragon everybody keeps overlooking.
Really? How?
They don't look up.
They don't look up, right?
Yeah.
You know, I loved the wings for this one and the eyes because complementary contrasts, and they're so humongous. I mean, I visited two. I think this one also was. It was folklore, right? Or
No, I can't enter my own contest.
Oh, you can no,
No,
but
this is a really old build for a fairy tale contest. I think this is from 2019, maybe.
Oh,
old. I'm not sure, but I have a feeling it was pre-pandemic.
wow, really? Oh
Yeah, it's
my.
old.
Well, old.
But it's like the third dragon I made or something. Actually, that I showed you that hedge dragon, that the first one I built. The eyes are stolen from that one.
Oh, that's amazing. You stole the eyes. That's interesting. And speaks again to the nature of transitioning and growing also a little bit. Because if you start with, playing around with creatures like that, and this is the third dragon you're saying, so
Well, the second one was really ugly. It was for a contest where you had to use the dungeon trophies and those collectibles that you can open in every house
oh
to
my.
make something, and I made a dragon out of them. And the most ironic thing is, like, at least they're all three were entered into contests, and only that ugly trophy dragon won anything. Has this ever won anything? I don't think so. No, 2 years later, it won another fairy tale contest. So it was only appreciated 2 years later.
See, but I think that can speak to the maybe wasn't appreciated at its creation time or just when it was done, but later when it has matured a little bit, the community was ready for it.
Maybe, but like this is also the one where I found one judge not seeing the dragon. So I
Oh,
asked him, like, "Oh, what do you think of the dragon?" And it was clear he hadn't seen it yet. So maybe
oh,
they just didn't see it. Like, I didn't expect that so many people wouldn't see a giant dragon. I think
mm.
this one also suffered a bit from the fact that at this point we didn't have the day-night switch.
Oh,
And this
yes,
looks really ugly at the day. I mean, it's just not
right.
Spain.
Yeah, I mean, of course, and that change that is a game changer for a lot of people. The control with the time of day, I think that is at least for some, it does help, with certain bills make them stand out a little bit more. But I remember when I was visiting this one, it totally stood out to me. Like I saw it right away, and I was also I mean, there was a little bit of a story there, and I kept thinking maybe this dragon isn't trying to break in. Maybe this dragon is protecting. I
No,
had
it's supposed to be Maleficent.
I see.
Keeping Beauty House, the Disney version.
Yeah,
She
yeah, I
never
remember.
turned into a dragon in the original tale. But like, I wanted to, it had to do a fairy tale. It had to be Grimm fairy tale specifically. I think it's been ages. Back then I used to be closer to 20 than I was to 30 now. Um, and I mean, I just wanted, like, for a contest, I think I knew I had to build something that would visually stand out, so I wanted to make a dragon, and that's what I did. Can we go to the next one? Like, with the gifts, if it spins too long, it hurts my
Sure,
eyes a little bit, and I'm
sure,
also
sure.
getting a bit tired.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah.
So, I was gonna ask, because we are going for more than 4 hours.
Yeah.
We did have a break, but maybe do you guys still feel like you can go on? I mean, I do know that we've sent Cheetytarah off for a little break just now. Um, but do you feel like you can go on? Because we can also fade out today and return to this and talk to fantastic creatures for you a little bit fresher if you feel like it. You just have to tell
Yeah,
me.
I'm getting a bit at the end of my social battery, I think.
Okay, good. So
But
then
I can do another 4 hours, that's for sure.
no, I would not expect another 4 hours. No, I would certainly not expect that. So how about this? We, if you feel like it, we can still continue with the next GIF and have a conversation about that. and slowly fade out so that you can be sent off to bed, everybody else as well. And we continue with the portion of Sorries in another time. We will reschedule and let everybody know. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, we can finish like the screenshots part and then do the houses later.
Perfect. Then that's what we're going to do.
Versions compared to the ones the Chi showed, they have a lot more different elements too.
Mm-hmm.
So if we like, so all of them have more than one creature in it.
Yes, I remember.
So they're going to take longer in because of that probably already.
Yes,
Because
yes.
Earthfall has a bee, a snake, a turtle, a moth, a butterfly,
Bee,
snails,
Mhm.
fishies. Yes, yes. There's a lot.
a bird's nest that nobody sees.
No, that you can climb to it almost, the bird's nest. I mean, I was lucky because you were there and you were telling me about it in the stream. But yeah,
The bird's nest is the most uninteresting part of the house. It was like, oh, we got a giant nest. I'll add it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
get it. I mean, the snails and everything else was so magnificent there, right? I mean, I don't know how long I stayed in that build. I don't care how long I stayed, but I had the best time, and it was even better because you were in stream and I could ask you questions. It's
Yeah, there's a lot there. I think a lot of people, for example, don't notice the toad.
oh
I mean, some people don't even see the bee because they don't turn around. So
oh
it's a big house, and they just got
yeah.
off a lot of parts of it.
Like, it's a good way of
Yeah.
like putting lots of creatures into the one build. Like, I really like the style that you've got so much in.
Yeah, yeah. So we were just saying, Cheetytarah, welcome back, by the way. We will go through with the screenshots now, and then we will break, reschedule, and go with Sorry's beautiful houses at another time. Let everybody else know, because it is getting a little bit late and I don't want to overexert you guys. And as we were just pointing out, of course, some of the houses that are still awaiting the audience and everybody else, there's a lot to see there. It's a lot of volume to cover, and I don't want this to be strenuous for any of us. And so I think that's a good idea to do that. Also gives everybody else to look forward to a part 2, if that makes sense.
This is my Studio Ghibli house, so it also has, for anyone that's familiar with it, it has a Calcifer and a GT from Kiki's Delivery Service, the cat. And do I have something else? And I have these 3 at least. Somebody copied this one and then won 2 prizes with it, but mine was definitely 6 months older.
Oh,
Yeah, I never won anything with this one, so that one hurt.
oh. I mean, there's also Lemonleaf has spied with her little eye Totoro. Very good, very good, and little hearts there floating about. You know, I think that's really a shame. For one, that you've not had any chance to clench a victory or anything in a competition with this one, particularly because yours was certainly older. And, you know, I think that is really a sad thing when people go about and copying and blatantly just copy things and not, you know, it's one thing to have inspiration and take inspiration from somebody else and learn something from them, but a whole different thing to just copy.
Yeah, because at least it wasn't like a one-on-one copy. Like my Pikachu has like people using the exact same materials. Like it's a meme face. Like I don't have any copyright of the original image, but like at least choose a different. Why have I never seen a other kind of Pikachu but the one that I made with the exact same materials? Like this one at least tried some new things with it, but it was still like very much based on mine. For example, the bread nose from the cat bus. Like the
Oh,
nose, like sometimes you add like details kind of out of laziness.
yeah.
You're like, that'll do. And then somebody else will copy that laziness and you're like, yeah, like that's how I know because of that like certain detail that gets also or like when tattoo artists they will copy like a tattoo that's on like a man's chest and they also copy the nipple in the new tattoo. So yeah.
It's
So it's a bit sour that this one never won anything.
oh,
I mean, I only entered it into one contest, I think, but then somebody else, like, I think they won like 5 million gold
oh wow.
into prizes. Oh, they also won. Um, it was something like most original something, and I was like, that made it even more ironic because I
Mm.
already did this like 6 months earlier.
Yeah, certainly not ironic. Not
So that was sour, but I do really like this one. I really like Totoro. I also embroidered him once.
Oh,
That
nice.
was very much my beginner piece. That's like the first thing I've almost
Oh,
finished. And I really like the leaf on his head.
oh, it's so sweet. Leaf is also commenting, well, I think it's wonderful, super impressive, not just how accurate it
Thank
is,
you.
but the atmosphere is so nice. Oh,
Yeah, like it's in my what's that house called again? My brain rhythm. It's in my Forsaken Stronghold, and it also has a couple of other Ghibli builds.
mm.
I'm forgetting one that's in there. My Gigi is also I think I didn't add him, but he's like in Cold Harbor rock with limestone, so it's like a negative outline, so the outline is in white.
Ah, I see. Yeah. I don't know, it's interesting.
And I kind of like that too, like instead of like now like this is as bricks and then it's filled in, but that one is like just already using the blackness of the rock and then just makes an outline. But yeah, this one is fun. And the rain is from all those fountains that came with sweet water. And they're like really expensive fountains, and I just plopped them in here for rain.
Absolutely nothing wrong with it. I was just going to post a link for everybody if you want to have a look at Sorries 2D builds, more of them. Here's a link for you. You can go grab it. It's the forum link. So you can have a peruse around and check out more lovely 2D
Yeah,
builds.
my two builds so far. What's the date that I posted this? 2022. So 2023 missing.
That's all right. That's all right. I don't think that anybody is going to, scold you or anything. You're good. You're good.
What was the next one?
The next one is this one.
This is my oldest. This is the first contest build I made.
Oh,
This is for
wow.
J Heart Dragon contest. I think maybe it either 2019 or 2018. I was like really, I think 2019. And I used that ice for the other dragon. And he's made out of hedges because I was a noob and I didn't have any gold.
Oh, nothing wrong with
So it's
it.
really cheap. It's from when Elsewhere came out.
Oh, this is so wonderful. Also, I really, I have seen this before. I mean, this one not before, but I have seen someone approach designing a dragon using hedges. There's nothing wrong with it.
I've seen
And
it once. If anyone can tell me which one it was, because I haven't been super up to date on new entries lately.
I will find it. I have it somewhere because I'm fairly certain I've clipped it. It's I think in one of the collections. I think it must have been. I think it was That Magical Feeling, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, that one had so many entries, and I haven't been very active lately. That I never ended up like if there's too many contest entries, then I will wait until the winners come out.
Mhm.
because I can't go through 170 builds. At this point, I'm getting old. I'm near.
Aw. No, you're not. I
I
don't.
mean, I think people usually think I'm a lot younger than I am. But I never got around to seeing the entries.
I do have them all in a collection. I have them clipped, so you can just choose the clips. They're and just go. You don't necessarily have to go and watch the highlights because, as I said, for me, 4 hours is nothing. After I've done that very long, almost 11 hours stream, it just doesn't feel like a very long run for me at all. But I do know for others it is. And that is why I do clips for all the little entries, all of them. So each house has their own clip, and you can have a look around there. I'm just wondering. No, it's not that one. It's not that one. Thinking which one was it? I'm fairly certain it was in that competition. I will find it.
Yeah, you don't need to search for it now. I think that's fine if it's left for another day.
I will find it, and
Yeah,
I
there's a
will.
very old hedge dragon from when like Elsewhere came out 5 years ago.
Absolutely, I really love it. Also, the notion that you stole the eyes. I love that you.
Yeah, like the rest is in a storage house. Like I copy pasted it to make room for an actual build
Mm.
in my grand's villa. But I think he probably has lost some items here and there.
I mean, as you do, as you grow older, maybe a few scales have, slipped off.
I mean, like the underwater dragon, which is my most recent one. That one, like, did feel like I lost some life essence while building it.
Oh, you did. I'm so sorry to hear that. Was it such a fiddly job?
No, it was just a very hard. Like, do you have the one as well?
Yes, I do. Of
To,
course.
to
Let's.
compare, like the first and last one. I mean, the
Yeah.
underwater dragons also all 2 years out, and it's a skeleton.
Oh no, it seems like I don't have that one.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's fine. I'll show it tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll show
Not
it.
tomorrow, the next time.
Yeah, we'll show it in the second
Okay.
part then. Yeah. Um, we'll definitely show it in a second part. It was. I have mentioned this before, but it was the one where I was so taken with the build because it was Asian. You incorporated Asian and you incorporated a lot of creatures. There was this magnificent, glorious snake in it, and I was so mesmerized and stunned that I almost forgot about the dragon. And then there is a dragon lurking, and it's lurking so
Many
nicely.
hidden dragons in the
Yes,
house.
absolutely love it. It was so fantastic.
Nobody see my dragon. I mean, this one was also walk up, so I think some people also missed this one because they walked the other way because Prince Dick is too big.
Oh, right. I mean, it is big, true. Also, I really love the fire that you add there to the mouth. It's very nice. Also has movement, and the lighting there is just fine. I really don't know what you're saying there. You don't know. You didn't know what you were doing. I think we've spoke about this earlier. That seeing you guys grow and seeing where you started and then where you have transitioned towards to playing around with all the different furnishing pieces and seeing what works for you and what doesn't. I think that is magnificent and also very much what sculptures do, right? You look for material that you can tease out form, and I think that's brilliant. And we get to see how you guys grow and evolve, and mesmerize and stun us with such beauties. Really love it. Do you still remember how long it took you?
Like I'm very much a rush builder. I think probably not super long. But this is in an era where, for example, JR had like 3 contests a month or something. So
Oh
the build
my.
time was always very short. Like the prices back then, like for comparison, for people who like are only used to the current economy, like prices for a contest were like 300K back then.
Yeah, and that was considered a lot.
That was considered a lot. Like I didn't win anything with this one. That's fine. Of course, this is my first contest build. Oh no, technically not. Technically, actually, one of my first contest build. It was for a Tamriel Homes contest. Was that my first? I don't know. Remember which one came first. You had to make they had 1,000 followers on we had 1,000 followers on Tumblr, something we don't use anymore.
No.
And it was a screenshot contest where you had to make like thousands, and I made it out of like the Eleanor limestone items, and there were like 7 entries, but I did win. It was
Nice.
nice. I don't know. I can't remember now if this one came first or this one came first. It's so long ago.
So long ago.
Um, yeah, but like I did win 300K in the Twitch giveaway that night, and that was so much money to me back then.
Of
300K,
course.
and now 300K is like worth nothing because the economy. So
Yeah, I mean,
it's just as messed up as in real life.
yeah, I mean, some people would say, "Oh, that's argent de poche," right? It's not a whole lot when you see pools, particularly Ethereus Art had such a huge pool when it came to the prices there, and it's just it's really difficult to come up with that kind of prize money, if that makes sense to anybody. You do have to source it, and if you are a housing guild, that's really difficult. And I think even 300 were quite difficult to come by at the time too. I mean, it's not like
Yeah, and I think like the biggest difference is like we currently have a trader and they don't have one. So like for me, I also have the challenge to upkeep the trader and, for example, the guild house, like those kind of expensive. So that does like have you basically making different economic choices.
yeah,
But like for example, I only focused on having our contest for guild only.
yes,
Because for me, like I organize contests for my guild, and I don't really need to involve random people. Like we get more than honestly, I already get like 50 entries more
yes,
often, and I already think that's quite a lot, especially
it
if people
is.
have to vote. So like for me, it's fine if the contest is a bit smaller, as long as like the participation within the guild is high. Then
Yes,
it doesn't really matter. Like so you have those kind of differences between guilds,
of
and
course.
it's just a matter of preference.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I also have to keep up the trader, and all have all those sort of costs. And like a trader
hmm
can cost like millions, like a week.
Yeah, yeah, I
Uh,
know. Really pricey. Very
mhm.
expensive. And yeah, of course, that plays into all of that. And I think that there's absolutely nothing wrong with smaller competitions and guild only competitions. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. Um, on the contrary, I would say it does help the community. That particular guild helps that guild to grow and become a community and be active. Um, as opposed to, you don't necessarily have to have like a huge number of entries to facilitate amazing and beautiful competitions
Mhm.
with
I
glorious
think al-
entries.
I think also with like if I want to enter a contest, like I'd much rather have like it would still like a nice price. Like I can't afford ESO Plus, so it's nice if I win it in a contest.
hmm
But like if I can win like 1 month ESO Plus by competing against 35 other people, or win a year of ESO Plus and compete against more than 100,
Yeah.
then I probably prefer the first one, because like what are the chances that you win in a contest with like 150 people? And
Yeah.
like housing is really expensive, so if those chances get like really low, for example, like One More Housing like has a lot of entries, but they also have a ton of prizes, for example.
Yes, yes, yes.
So you still always have a pretty decent shot of getting into honorable mentions.
Yes, of
And
course.
if you get into honorable mentions, you still get like 1 million. So it's
Yeah.
also always sort of a cost effectiveness. Like, how do you want to,
Go about it.
like, what do people prefer? Do they prefer to like have the glory of winning like among 150 entries, or do they just like winning a nice prize in their guild? It's all matter of personal opinion.
Of course. And of course, it's also a matter of looking at competitions in general. Like what are they for? Like some people can
Mhm.
think of a competition in terms of participation is already the biggest um, reward for them, because they are going to be seen. If you participate, you are going to be seen, you put yourself out there, and that already is for a lot of people a very high and wonderful reward. But of course, some people are driven and wish to place and build for competitions, which is a very different approach, of course. And then, of course, the expectations are also a bit different. And then, of course, what you're saying, when you have to compete, and that's why I said also that a competition becomes very tight when there's a lot of entries, because all of them are competing for a set amount of prizes, right? And it's because a tight competition is always going to be frustrating to those who are aiming to place in those. So yeah, it's a choices, and preferences, of course. Oh, also good night to you
Yeah,
too, Lemon Leaf. Sleep tight. Thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful night.
I think there's also a preference, like I really like guild voting, because that means that there's more participation from
Mm-hmm.
like people who are more like the visitors instead of the builders, like
Yes.
also have participations. And like the more votes you have, like I think we get usually like 70 to 100 votes. Like everybody always has bias, but I do think there's less bias if you have so many people, because they all their biases are competing with each other. Um, so I usually prefer, there are a lot of contests that have voting that are not within a guild,
Yeah.
but that's always something that always I prefer. But that's usually because there have been some contests, for example, like one person I knew had one judge that gave him a 1 because he didn't know he had to turn around at the entrance to
Oh my.
think like the Cold Harbor portal. You can walk through the portal,
Yeah, you
or
can.
in like he didn't know he do that. He had to do that, so he just gave him a 1, and then just bumped that person from a 3 to essentially like 7th place, and then he didn't win anything because it was like only like top 3, top 5,
Yeah,
and
and
that's a lot of power. And I also really prefer the fact, like you can't, like the methods we use, you can't vote anyone down. You just send in your favorites, and those, and based on their position in those favorites, they get a lot of points. So it can be like, oh, I really want to beat so and so. I'm gonna give them a 1. Like that's not possible. Like you can only not give them points, but
yeah.
other people will, and usually the winners have like pretty decent gaps among them. So there's a lot that comes to thinking, like how do you want to form a contest?
Yeah, and how do you
And I
want to go
think this
about it?
one, this one is pretty clear. Like Jhart organizes a contest, he picks the winners, and you basically just have to make something that you think he will enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually a pretty easy concept.
Yeah, it is. Also straightforward, right? There's not much to meander about. Like if you already know a little bit about Jihad, then maybe that comes easier to you to
And I also made cows. Yes. I mean,
certainly.
Appa was originally for a cow contest, but I already made a cow. So I asked if a bison was also okay, because I wasn't going to make another cow.
I think bison also
This one's
works.
also one that he started out for J-Heart's contest. He was like on a milk carton. So it was a cartoon cow on a milk carton. Then he was for like a Valentine contest, and like in Dutch you pronounce cow as koe. So
Ah,
he
yeah.
was Cupido, like Cupid. So hij zegt Cupido. So he was like Cupid.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then he was in that holy contest, and now he's like a holy cow. And
This is
he's
funny.
still a holy cow today.
This is so funny. And these things can spring forth from competitions like that, and you have a giggle and laugh about it.
I love a silly theme. Though like there was a period where they only had there were like 3 different toilet contests, and like now it's not funny anymore. Now it's been overdone.
Of course. I mean, I do say, I have said this before, but I meander about very mundane things and housing a lot, and I'm getting excited about them because these mundane things exist in real life, but they don't exist in ESO, or at least they used to not exist in ESO. As of recently, they have given people a throne, so you mustn't have to design one yourself. But
it's so much more fun.
yeah, I know it's so much more fun, and I'm always thrilled to see very mundane things because, or like a stove with knobs on it and kettle on, and it's steaming hot because smoke is coming from it, and all those kind of little details that are so magnificent.
Like in a folklore contest, I really liked. I think it was Mr. Go Lightly that borrowers built.
Oh yes,
Oh, yeah,
That one where it's just a normal kitchen, but the skill is completely off. I thought that one was like great. That one was amazing. Because I usually build a lot of miniatures.
yeah, and that was
I think like I
upscaled.
either make like creatures, 2D or miniatures, and maybe Cyberpunk. Though I never finished the second one. Uh, so I really like seeing like the opposite kind of skill.
Yeah, and
But
the
yeah, it's
the super sizing things and upscaling. I think there were two in that same competition. I think there was one by Kitsune Dark as well, or was it Kitsune?
they also had a sea dragon, I think.
They had a sea dragon, but I
Um,
think there was one competition where was it Kitsune? Maybe it was Kitsune. Um, it was such. I think it was a Forsaken Stronghold. I could be mistaken, but that one was so magnificent because it was so huge. It was so upscaled. Um, really, really magnificent. But yeah, and highlighting the two different approaches, like going into miniatures, like also Hayden goes into very tiny little figures and
They're so adorable. I love
so
those.
adorable. Yes, such little tiny little dolls. And then you have others who go into the other extreme, and that's very interesting to see all the variety that exists. And I think that for that, competitions are so useful. They can really tease that
because
out.
like the first thing, honestly, doing a contest is to think of something that you think will stand out.
Hmm.
Because like you need to be memorable first, especially with voting, because like people will finish the list before they decide. Like with judging, they will usually vote on decide on the spot, and then that's also kind of mood dependent. And with voting, people will like maybe even go 2 rounds, 3 rounds. Some people take it very seriously.
Hmm.
And what was my train of thought?
I mean, it's a different.
Yeah, but like if it stands out, then you
Like, it
then
can be
remember it
for
to go
me.
for it, sort of thing.
If I can't remember it, then it will just have a harder time. Like, that's why I always really like funny themes. I think you had Olaf in there, right? Like I made him for a snowman contest because I was really thinking like there's also one for J Heart.
There we
It's
go.
like how can I make a snowman that stands out? So I made Olaf. He apparently does not like Frozen, by the way, for anyone who ever thinks it did do well. But Frozen does apparently not appeal to J Heart. You heard it. You heard these contest secrets here.
Very
This is
good.
really simple build. Like this did not take long, to be honest.
Oh, wow. I mean, you did mention that you tend to build very fast anyways, but now I'm curious, how long did it take you?
This one, oh, probably within a day.
Wow.
But like the thing is, this is, I'll be honest, my builds are not neat. Like you can tell, I kind of rushed through them. It's like it's not like ooh, every spot is exactly where it belongs. It's like
Mm,
this is just looking at a reference picture. I think the hardest part is like you need to make a plateau so you can get the skill right. Because you don't want
right.
to like build the head suddenly super large while the body is tiny because you were
Yeah,
underground
proportions. Yeah, proportions really
portion.
matter. Yeah, that is
And
so.
it's just an outline of Olaf, and then you basically try to find an item to fill it in. I
Right.
used the Halloween mushrooms
They're
because they were
perfect.
white and they were cheap, and snow is really expensive.
It is so expensive. We learned that already today, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my. Yeah,
Like nowadays, you actually have better items for it. You have those. I used them uh, in my Christmas builds. You have those kind of Riekling bricks. I don't remember what they're called, but they're very white.
oh yes.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
pass as snow. Like they're not as great as snow, but they can pass
Mm,
as one.
Mm-hmm.
They do have like parts that really stick out. So I'm not sure if they would have been great for this. But more white items do now exist because like this is a very like acne like it's called a puss bucket mushroom. You can tell he has some maybe cysts.
but I
But
think
it's a very cheap build. But like this is really just bricks, cheap Halloween mushrooms. I don't even know what the button is anymore. Some pumpkins, and yeah. I think the most expensive things are the ice. These are Eleanor tables and like
oh,
dwarven urns.
oh
But the
my.
rest is like super cheap. Oh, and the background. Like nowadays, I would not build white Eleanor, but I used to do it a lot.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I think though for this it certainly works because it still stands out and you do have an outline, and I think that is also in keeping with this particular um, image that you were going for. And I think everybody can see what it is supposed to be. Everybody looks at it and knows right away whether they have seen Frozen or not. I think you must have lived under a rock if you've not seen this one appear
Yeah,
somewhere.
you know what it is. You know, it stands out because it's already familiar to you.
Yes.
And, you know, familiarity is just something that people prefer, even if they maybe don't like Frozen all that much.
Yeah, understandable. So, I mean, I have, I personally don't like Frozen at all, but that is because I don't like Disney at all. Has something to do with the way in which they go about distorting the fairy tales, because they're not meant to be cute. They're meant to be scary or meant to have a moral implication, and they're not actually meant for kids. They were adapted, of course, for kids, and so for me it's always a bit of an iffy thing. But then again, I can look at it and see the joyful, happy face looking at me, and I understand exactly where it's from. And it's not like that I can't appreciate it. It's super cute. And I love that it is a quick build for you and that you've enjoyed also. I hope you enjoyed building it.
I mean, it wasn't very difficult, so in that way I enjoyed it.
You know, I think you have to have enjoyable builds and you have to have fun while you're doing it, because if it turns into too much laboriousness, you can get into frustration territory. And when something becomes frustrating to an extent, it's harder to get through, right? And it's harder to stick with, particularly if we're talking about a video game, right? So I think that it's good that there are things that are fun for you, that you enjoy doing, that are happy for you, and that also don't eat up a lot of time.
Yeah, but this is also like a contest where it's not like you win, like, I think maybe at this point the prizes were like 600K per winner and there were like 6 winners.
Oh my.
So it wasn't like if it is a 7, it's like I'm saying like a lot. A contest where it's kind of expected to do like 700 slots and like expensive items and that sort of thing, because the prices are like 10 mil and like codes. You go in it with a lot of different expectations for yourself.
Yes.
Like with this one, I know I can make Olaf pretty easily and not that expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So in that way, it wasn't a very stressful build. I think most of these, because like I saved my better creatures for like the ones in the houses.
Ah,
I do
right.
have the page right. One,
Was it this one?
but like I think Oppa, for example, is like almost the same materials, also bricks, white background. I do think this is my best 2D one. Like I think he came out like Epath. I don't know if you've seen Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Think I've only well, the animated series I've never seen, but I have heard of him and I have a general picture
It's
in
a
mind.
really good show. It holds up, by the way. Like the animated series, I still recommend it. But like he's a lot harder to recreate.
I see. Yeah, of
Um,
course.
like this is also not one that I spent a ton of time on. I think the hardest parts were the ice. Ice are like Eleanor balls,
Oh,
and then there are 2 each, so that they get an oval shape.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
I don't remember what the white dot is, to be honest, in the ice.
but that is
But I think he
wonderful.
looks. Mm-hmm.
It's really wonderful.
But I think
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I'm also terrible. Like because I have a twin sister, I'm terrible with interrupting people. Um, like we just talk right over each other.
Oh, it's understandable. You want to be heard. Oh, both of you. It's understandable. You want to be seen, both of you.
We don't respect each other, so you just don't care about letting other.
Oh,
No, also we also have an elder sister, and she used to have like she has like it's now a lot better, but in her teen years, her ADHD was maybe not as well maintained as it is now.
oh
And
my.
at the dinner table, we could just not get a word in.
Oh dear.
Like, no, yeah, he would finally like breathe, and he would try to say something, and then she would interrupt, like, "No, I'm still speaking." And so I'm kind of bad with interrupting people because I can never sort of gauge when the right timing is.
Yeah.
But anyway, like this one, this is also a really cheap build. It's like North, um,
Yeah, the bedding, the
yeah,
wonderful,
the carpet,
the carpet.
those,
Yeah, to me always looked like
yeah,
bedding. It's so wonderful. I love
strawberry,
that. Yeah.
some bricks, and the nose is that lead item from Stone Falls.
Oh,
The feet are rocks. They're technically a crown item because they came with a house. They're like essentially worthless. So these are all like pretty cheap builds.
very
I think
frugal.
the skeleton is just made out of those mushrooms, so I think it's also like in comparison like really cheap.
You
But
know, but
like
it
2D
is
leaves a lot of room to be like economical.
of course. But at the same time, I think, if you're going for image and if you're trying to recreate something and you want it to stand out or people to recognize it in one way or the other, I think that is a very nice medium and a very nice way to go about it. Similar to the screenshots that we've seen by Cheetytarah today. It's such a wonderful way to still design and still, go about housing and explore a little bit of your own abilities with housing, with what you're given. And particularly when you're going with frugal builds, as in not using a lot of crown items and all the things that we mentioned before, I think that can really teach you something about yourself. And that indeed you can.
There's one guild that I enter because I can't enter in Tamara homes. And every time I'm like on the stream or in the house tour, after me, they suddenly will start a speech about like not everybody having the same resources. And it's like, I also put in a ton of effort for this build. Like, I know I run a housing guild, but I also, did my best.
Of course.
And that's sometimes a bit of annoying to like put in a lot of effort in it. And
Yeah.
I know I have pretty decent skills. And I always start a speech about like, oh, and beginners also deserve a chance, and like they do. So you know what I do in my guild? I just have like extra prizes for beginners. Like I'm not gonna follow up like maybe Yumai or someone like with her great snail, and then like start like imagining if I start talking like, oh, but the beginners also need like this and that. Like no, I just have extra prizes for them. And sometimes I
Yeah.
have beginners who also end up in the top 10, but it's always so weird when people talk about like resources when like this is like such a cheap build. So you have beginners with like way more expensive builds.
Yeah.
Um,
And
but
particularly
then I get
because,
talked down because I'm a
yeah,
bit more. That's I always find it such a weird.
it's weird.
Uh,
It's also
it's
just
also
not
very ugly to
fair.
bring up. Like guys, can you guys stop having the same speech
Yeah,
each time
also
after my
why?
house
I
has
think,
been on?
yeah, it's just I don't understand why to begin with, because like in any you know conversation about art, you look at the piece and it doesn't matter what has been used. Like, I mean, we've had a conversation about crown store items, and that some people build magnificent, huge castle builds with a ton of very expensive crown store items, and there's merit to it, but it takes a different kind of skill to design something in 2D or in sculpturing when you're going for creatures than building a very large castle and dazzle people with shiny items. And I'm not saying that the shiny items aren't pretty, they are, but it's a different skill. And why must we have this weird comparison when you can look at the art piece itself and appreciate it for what it is? And not have to go about, oh yeah, just because you can be frugal about the choices that you make, it doesn't mean that the build doesn't take effort. It is.
What's also a bit ironic is that it's not like you have like a small town competition, but like an Olympic champion keeps entering and keep winning every year. Like there are beginners that have won more times than me. Like I've lost to people's first builds, there. And so it's kind of like, I mean, should I do you guys even want me to enter? Because it's not like I win that often. Like I've won maybe twice over like 5 years or something. Um, but it's so weird to get that speech each time when it's not like I've smashed the competition each year and everybody's tired because like the same person keeps winning. If anything, the people who keep saying the speech are the ones who keep winning.
I mean,
So I always find it a bit hypocritical.
it's just also so out of place. As I said, I think it's
Like,
it's
don't
just odd.
allude to other people.
Also,
It's just weird.
as you've also mentioned I do like that there is also newcomers that get recognized, because sometimes people enter for the very, very first time into a competition and it's super scary. And as I said earlier, that is the achievement, to enter a competition and participate in a community effort. And you don't have to have like this whole expectation that you're going to win, because if the competition is tight, the chances aren't very high. But at the same time, I love when within those competitions people decide, okay, we're going to have honorable mentions, we have newcomers, we have from those people who of whom we know that they've entered for the very first time, that needs to be recognized in a different way. And when there is movement around that in that competition or in the guild, wherever it takes place, I think that is enough. And you don't have to have like this weird comparative attitude going about trying to compare someone utilizing skills that need a little bit more honing because they just started out, and someone who's very well advanced into the craft and has won maybe a few competitions before or has placed in multiple competitions before. And it's just different to compare that. I certainly don't do that. When I go about judging, I look at the piece. I always look at the piece, and I just decide upon that and not what I've seen before or anything that I've seen before by this designer. I just look at the piece, and that is what I'm judging, not anything else in around. And I don't know how the others do it, but that's how I do it, because I don't think there can come anything good from comparing all the time. It causes a lot of frustration for a lot of people, and it just creates also a very competitive environment.
A bit influencing to like we're all suspect to be that we're all adults playing like a game meant for adults. And like most of my builds, I probably like all of them to be honest, were made usually for a contest. Like I know competitive, but like I will mention like, oh, this one didn't win anything, and like sometimes a bit salty because like this one didn't win anything, but somebody who copied it did.
Yeah.
But like
that's not fair.
I also didn't win in my in most of my first contests.
Of course.
Like I won the one with 7 entries, but like that hedge dragon didn't win, and the one after that didn't win. And I don't even remember what the one after that was. And I just think it's a bit infantilizing to, if the grown adult who enters their first contest is going to get a leg up, basically because they're a beginner. Like, aren't we all at least above 18?
Yeah, sure.
The game. Like, I've also had like people who were very sensitive, and at the same time, it's like, like I'm also a sensitive person, but like it's still a game. Like we put a lot of effort into the things we make.
Yes.
But you don't need to look at the contest results if you didn't place. You don't need to try to like figure out every single score that you got.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I
always think that,
winning
like,
your first
winning the
contest, and I
bonus.
find that so weird. Like, yeah, beginners should get a chance, but like I really wouldn't expect any beginner to win their first contest unless it's like 5 entries and or something.
Yeah.
That's not normal. Like as more experienced people usually do well in contests. And like
Yeah.
sometimes we have beginners, like their criteria of beginners is not, oh, this is my first house ever, but like contest beginners. Because building for a contest and building for your own is very different.
Oh yeah, so different.
But people have placed in the top 10 and have gotten first in the in the beginners category. So like that is something that is great, but it's not something to be expected. It's somebody who enters their first contest should be like, oh, should they also get this? Like,
Mhm.
no, you should
Could
be
also
already
be like,
happy with just maybe getting
for
getting
example,
fifth place in a 12-person contest should already be great if it's your first house. Like, I find it a very weird mindset.
yeah, because
But
even though they're
it's
a
mostly just
beginner, they might
mid-nagging
be
at
looking
me
at
after a couple of years to get the safe space to my house.
You were saying, Cheetytarah, that it's also a weird mindset.
No, I was just saying, like, but they could be a beginner for housing, but they could also be like an artist in real life. Who
Yeah.
just really naturally
Like,
takes
I'm
it
not an artist in real life. I can mediocrely draw. That's about it.
Yeah, but that is a point. There's a very valid point also to be made when you do have someone who is, professional artist in real life because they work in the industry maybe, then to them maybe sculpturing or maybe certain skill sets are transferable or easily transferable. So that is a very good point to raise. Yeah.
They're naturally creative.
Mhm,
It's
mhm.
easy to them. It comes easy because it's what they do in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, I think also like how much free time does a person have to build something in games?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
that's not a metric that we're measuring, for example, and I think that's honestly more important than uh than whether somebody's a beginner or not. Like I think it's good when like also add like a small house contest because not everybody has the time to decorate 700 slots.
Yeah.
But like with voting, usually the big contests, big houses do end up winning because there's more to show, also more
Yes.
to admire.
Mm.
It can happen that the 200 slot house still wins. It can happen, but I always make it so that you can place in both. Like you can win the small category, but you can also still win in the normal top 10.
Mhm.
And that's basically like beating a handicap that you did so well with like less space. But there's
Mm.
so many different categories that you can decide like, oh, this is unfair, this is unfair. And like everything is unfair because life is unfair and it's just
Also in voting
you
and
just have to live with that not everything will happen. Like
yeah.
everybody wants it. And you can whine a bit to your friends or like I see people like publicly complain about a winner and they didn't like this house and like sorry.
Yeah, but the
Most
others did.
often they didn't even enter.
Oh,
And they
and that's
complain about the winner.
yeah, but that's something that I would just disregard and ignore because this is to me a little bit similar to people complaining about an outcome of a vote in an election, but they didn't bother to go voting.
Yeah.
If you can't be bothered to enter and you're still complaining, I think that is something that we should just brush away and ignore because they're just not going to change in that way. And I think it's not worth losing breath over because someone feels entitled to win in a competition, but think they're not able to because certain people always win, or feel like certain people always win. And I think that's just the wrong approach to competitions to begin with.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think like if you win a prize, it's a bonus.
Mhm.
It shouldn't be
Yeah,
your sole reason for being involved.
yeah.
If you're only wanting to win, then I don't know. It's
You're doing
silly.
it wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least I think that too. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Because like people put effort in it with a certain expectation that whatever happens will be legit. Like I wouldn't care about 500K, but like if I would see somebody who put like, you have this Facebook post where you have a gorgeously drawn dog and like a really bad one, but the bad one had more likes, then you're kind of like, yeah, but this is unfair because somebody put in a ton of effort and likely this isn't really a legitimate result. Like in those sort of cases, I think it's fine to feel like negative about it.
Of course.
Even if right, because you just like no matter what, most people want fairness first. There have been some contests, like never use Facebook because I've entered one contest with Facebook voting and like 2 people tried to cheat.
Oh my.
Yeah, like one of them had like 4 shares to a private Facebook page, and yeah, the
It's
whole
like, why
thing.
do they take it so
It's
seriously?
super old drama, by the way. So I'm gonna.
Oh my. Yeah,
But,
what you're saying, Cheetytarah, how can you so seriously, and it's just yeah, what you're saying, grown adults making a fuss about something that is not really a fuss.
Yeah.
It's and that's why I'm saying it's not really worth losing your breath over. But of course you should not, feel discouraged or in any way negative when there's a legit reason to have negative emotions when certain things get copied, for instance, and then you feel
It's
like
not fair.
that's not fair.
Like,
Exactly.
fairness, definitely like fairness.
Yeah, but that's a difference. That's different when we talk about fairness than expectations. And I think with expectations or approaching competitions with a specific expectation, I think that's particularly for those who start out, I think is not a very good approach.
Definitely not.
And that's
Yeah,
why
if you're a beginner in housing, like don't expect to win on your first
no.
contest. That's
Also,
my thing
I
always.
keep repeating this over and over. When you have entered, you already won because that is the biggest leap to take. It takes some confidence. It takes also a little bit of courage to put yourself out there and throw your head in the ring to begin with and to be seen, right? This is a very visible thing too.
It's like it's nice to join in with a guild that if it's a guild that you like as well, and you think, yeah, I really want to be a part of that. There's something nice about that. It shouldn't be about, oh well, I might win gold. It shouldn't really come into it. I don't think
It's
you
just a
should make
cherry
it
on
part
top, yeah.
you enjoy the guild, or you enjoy the theme. You just want to build for it.
I mean, I do know, again, there are people who build specifically for contests and competitions. That's absolutely valid. The approach too is absolutely valid. It usually is people who are already accomplished who build for competitions like that. So that makes a lot of sense that they would, because that may be a challenge for them, right? If a theme is a little bit more abstract, then the build for it might take a little bit longer or more thought and more creative process that goes into it. And so someone who builds exclusively for competitions could feel more tickled in that sense. But I
I
don't
think
think
it
that's
makes
the
sense if
majority.
somebody puts like a huge amount of like time and resources and something into a project and it looks really good, and then somehow and it doesn't do as well as expected. Then I mean people are allowed to feel things. It's just like
Of course.
publicly like whinging about it. That's kind of the problem because
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can change it.
Yeah,
And like I
yeah.
have like when I judged age, I remember I talking with an American judge afterwards. We were both, for example, really surprised that there were so few European winners. Because there were many great European entries. Like sometimes you notice that sort of thing, like, I really expected to be more that this group would do a little better. but it doesn't mean you publicly go like, oh, these people were trash and these one were the best. Like, no, sometimes you just feel a certain way or you expected something different, but you can't decide what everybody else thinks, so what every other judge thought, what every other voter thought. Like, so we both had the idea, like, oh, we felt like there were maybe a bit more better entries on EU this year,
Hmm.
but all the other judges maybe just liked other kinds of builds. So you just never know, like,
Yeah.
what the reason is.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I have, like, maybe in, like, across, like, 5 years or so, I've seen, like, a couple of contests where I was really like, huh? Okay. But, you know.
Yeah, sometimes the outcome can be a surprise, even if you are in the judging panel, of course, because you never know. And if it's a large panel of many judges, then particularly you can be very thrown off or surprised. And
Yeah,
of course,
like,
everybody
in
has
one,
different you know likes or find something.
Different criteria.
Yeah, different criteria just stand out a little bit more to them, or this is very subjective in a way.
yeah, there was one, like, incident with one guild, and their voting method was people would rank each other, and somebody had their friends, the voting was between all the entries, and somebody had their friends enter, so they could place them on number 1, and, like, other good entries, like the best entries, like, all the way down.
Oh my.
Mm.
But it was the house itself was like, oh, I mean, maybe I'm confusing two once, but like a half-built staple home with like what my beginner houses look like before even entering contest, like the time where you're like, I'm just gonna find a lot of red card items, and I'm gonna place all my red card items in this house, and I thought like a very normal beginner house, and like sometimes like those kind of things, then you're kind of like, yeah, I mean that's sort of cheating to do. I mean that's kind of blatantly cheating to ask a friend to enter who had a completely empty house just so that they could prop somebody else up,
Mm,
Yeah, it's like asking friends to vote for you. It's
or
not okay.
like asking for Facebook votes,
Mhm.
that kind of pathetic stuff.
yeah, no, that's uh, that's I don't know that. Can you be proud of a win like that? That's my
No,
question.
I wouldn't think so.
No,
Hmm.
like I do notice that like the like with voting, the socially acceptable position to put your like if we're talking about people in like a romantic relationship is to put them on third place. So
Oh,
like a place, then you give them a bit of points, but they're not gonna matter.
Yeah.
Uh, so
It's like it doesn't matter what they build, they're just going to vote for them, sort of thing.
mm, yeah, but
I mean, like, I'm not saying they're bad builds. Like they're going to give a little point to like a loved one, but they're not going to prop them up. And like the socially acceptable place is apparently free, and it's not something that I'm going to be super concerned about if I see it, because that person is nowhere near winning usually.
yeah.
Uh, but when they put them at number 1, oh, then I'm keeping it open. That's not
Mm.
like you're putting them on number 1 with number 3. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, is also I think that is it's good when you do have a little bit of experience in these kinds of competitions, because then you do see and you know what you're kind of looking for. Or you have some experience to rely upon what usually or what can be potentially in the winner category, or what can be higher ranking and stuff like that. So I think that experience definitely helps in that when it comes to looking at votes. But yeah, I find it a bit as I said, odd, because I would ask the question again, can you be proud of a win earned that way?
No.
some
Yeah, it's
people apparently are like, there's, I'm not gonna name anything names, but there's has been, I'm not sure if they're that active anymore, but there has been like one hyperactive competitor within the scene where like I always keep my eyes open surrounding that person because coincidentally always this person votes for that person, that sort of thing.
Hmm.
And those people exist. People who are like I'm
that.
also competitive. Like I'm competitive. If I think you're over competitive, you've like blasted like far too far. Uh,
Yeah,
but
makes
like I think I'm also in a position because I like keep track of a lot of those things. Like I look at them very differently than people who maybe just enter.
of course.
Uh,
Of course, and I think that is what I meant by experience. When you have a lot of experience, and then of course from that you can gauge things a little bit better. And I think that is something that others might not have the opportunity to rely upon. And I think that is an important point to make in these kinds of things. And of course, then you can have a little bit more of an eye on them. Just to see whether there is too much bias going on. And I mean, with voting and with judging things, there's always a little bit of a bias there. But is it fair? And is it asked for, or is it just an underlying, not in your face, a kind of bias? Because someone could have a preference for something and would be drawn to a specific build a little bit more, and that's why they like it a little bit more.
I mean, that's why I like voting because like
Hmm.
everyone is biased in their own ways, but like all those biases have to compete with each other, so that bias has less power because
Yeah.
everyone has it, and most people do take it very seriously. And if there's one person who is like that nasty person who uh, isn't the fair person, yeah, they're now just a little spot within like maybe 80 people instead of maybe one of 8 judges.
Yeah, it's a bit different. It carries less weight. And I think that that can certainly help in situations like that. So I was more referring to a bias that is a little bit more fair. Oh, hello, Ordinand Cake. You've been lurking and you agree. Wonderful. Is I think there is a little bit of a bias that isn't malicious and doesn't affect outcome all that much. But of course, there is a bias that can do that. And to prevent that, I think there is a lot of ways in which you can curb that to prevent any kind of weird behavior.
Yeah,
Also,
like why I also like just to keep my contest within guild is because like I think inner outer guild bias is a lot stronger than, for example, maybe I like this person a little bit better because you're all basically on the same team. You're all guildies. It's not like you don't know this person at all. So in that sense, I already think bias is less than whether you're judging like 80 plus entries and like 40 people you've never even heard of. Because like usually with our contests, I think we actually always have a decent amount of like newcomers who rank high. So like I never like even people who join because they saw the contest advertised, they still always have a pretty big chance to do well. I think even with beginner contests, like we used to have like a specific contest for beginners. Like beginners become a bit too muddy for that. But usually like new people would win them, even though they weren't that new, because they were still guildies, and I think that also a bit helps. But the thing is, like with contests and voting and judging, there's no perfect method. You
Absolutely
always
not.
have to
Yeah.
just decide, like, what do you think is most important, and like what method
Are
matches
you
that the
applying?
most. Because some people maybe hate voting because they like really making obscure, like maybe they really like making things that are obscure, and maybe they believe that judges take more time in finding out the context, and that voters like more popular things, that sort of thing. There's no perfect method for anything regarding judging something that's based on subjective opinion.
Oh yeah.
But you just have to have a strong stance in what you find important. And I find it important that a lot of people have a say in who wins, and that all that gets measured out into results, and that it's all within the same group of people who all already
Are
feel
passionate. Yeah.
familiarity with each other.
Mhm. Yeah, and it helps, as I mentioned earlier, it does help to the community also to grow a little bit and connect a little bit more. And yeah, Odin and Cake was saying that an audience vote element. I think there are some method, and as you were saying, there is no right or wrong way to do things besides cheating, outright cheating. But
There are wrong ways. There's no perfect way. There will
yeah,
always
no,
be.
it's certainly not. And also, it's a decision kind of thing. You have to make a decision as to how you want to go about it. And some prefer going with criteria and going with judges. And there are also some competitions that go with favorites, like judges' favorites alongside scores, which is something that, or scores in the sense with criteria, it can result in some builds placing and some being judges' favorites for other reasons, right? Because the judges can have different reasonings as to why they pick
Sometimes,
this.
like, I can vote in my own contest, but sometimes I think I should add like my own my pick category, because there's always like one entry where I'm like, oh my god, why didn't they place top 10? And I should just like, I already pay most of those contests to like gold out of my pocket anyway. Why am I just not making an extra category like you were the one person who couldn't vote's favorite? Congrats. Or at least the person she thinks deserves a prize. Like if my favorite already like won the contest, like it feels a bit silly to like add more to it. But like the person I think should have gotten better than they got, like that sort of prize.
Mm, yeah,
Because like
yeah, I think
it's
sometimes that would be a good idea. I
very
think there is a lot of merit to this idea to, particularly if you are financing it, you could, add
like
a
I'm not the type of normal winners. Like just like I mean, I really like this one, so I'm highlighting them a bit, and I'm also giving them a prize.
yeah, and why not? It doesn't even have to be like a large price, but something that will register. And when you have highlighted and it registers with the rest of them, with the rest of the group, it's something that can help people be seen and feel validated in what they do. And
Because
that helps also in the community and it encourages, right? If you are seeing a lot of very accomplished designers and what they create, some people feel very much intimidated to even participate in any of the competitions because of that, because they feel like, oh, I'm never ever going to be good enough to rise in those higher echelons. And I think that it's just practice. If people just keep at it when they first start out and feel encouraged because they are still being seen and recognized, then that can be an encouraging factor for them to continue on their journey.
also I always already have like raffle prizes for people who entered but didn't win. So like if you're not among the winners, there's still like 6 people who will win like 100K or 50 Rits or something.
Yeah.
And I also send everybody, even if it's like 68 people, like a luxury furniture package.
Mm.
So like I throw a lot of stuff at people price wise. Like I don't have like 150 million budget gold or something at the moment because I haven't been super active. But like everybody who enters gets like a thank you for participating meal with like 5 luxury items in there.
Oh, so sweet. It's so sweet.
I go all out.
Yeah, it's
Maybe that's why I haven't been a bit late with organizing a contest, because I go maybe 2 out.
I think there's nothing wrong with it. Also, if you don't necessarily have to have a lot of competitions all year round. I think there's also
No, I
merit
think
to
2
the thought
is enough.
having like a few competitions, but those then stand out a little bit more and they have high quality in every way possible. I think that's
Yeah,
valid.
I think it's a nice pace in Tamriel Homes, for me at least, because I'm main on NA. So when a contest does come up, because they're rarer, I'm more likely to make effort to enter, sort of
Mm.
thing. I quite like it personally.
See?
Yeah, like I think they now changed it, but like when I judged OMH a couple of years ago, there were so many low effort builds in there because the prices were so high, and they promoted it in a lot of like non-housing communities, that you just had a lot of non-housers like enter, like some were actually just storage homes, and then it's just like, I mean, yeah, the number is high, but like, does it count if it's like a storage home? Because like not a home you believe that anybody seriously entered. At least I hope so.
I mean, some just
Like, if you
decide.
seriously entered a storage home, like, I'm sorry, but I am concerned about you a little bit.
I mean, maybe that's their
But
idea of
but on the other hand, it's
housing.
so exhausting to judge storage homes.
Hmm.
Because you still had to fill in the numbers, and that's what I like with our top methods. It's still maybe a lot of, because you have to decide, choose 10 people, like a top 5 and 5 honorable mentions. But if you don't like a house, you can just skip it from your list and move on to the next. And as a judge, it was so exhausting to have to judge 150 houses, but like only half of them were like which would what would be the basic level, like the minimum standard level of what you would expect in a housing guild contest.
Hmm.
And like having to fill in numbers for a storage house, I remember that making me so tired to
Aw.
like decide. Like, I took it too seriously. I should have just, like, this is a storage house. Like, here are a bunch of ones, but no, I had to take it seriously and see if I missed a nook.
Hmm.
But yeah. By the way, shall we move on to
Sure.
the skeleton or something? I don't know.
We do still have this one. It should be on
Oh yeah,
screen now.
this is a mammoth. This is also really old.
Oh, it's so
This
lovely.
is just a mammoth skull, and I put some uh uh s- uh wood elf skins on them. So this is like an old, like very basic way to like make your first. It's not my first, but um, like how to discover. I'm so tired. Sorry.
It's all
Um,
right, darling. It's all right. It's late. Uh,
yeah. So basically, over. Oh, sorry, my phone. This was the moment where my phone slipped from my shoulder that I warned you about.
oh
Um,
no.
it's a mammoth skull with some wood hides on it.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. I also really appreciate that you've gone with so many crystals. I did have in one
So bright.
competition. Yeah, it's so bright. And I had in one competition, I think that was a magical feeling. Someone built a crystal tree in the Stillwater retreat. It was huge, and I did have them on the chat in Twitch. Um, and I did ask them how many crystals, and basically all of them that were available. They were going around buying them all from the vendors and all. It's just
I know that feeling.
Yeah, this one was for time machine contest, and like the other part of the house was like this sort of clockwork laboratory. Not my best
oh
because I don't really do indoor houses well. And you had like the mammoth bed, so you have a screen where the mammoth bed is on, and that's basically also with crystals, and that's basically what they will walk to.
Oh,
But yeah, this is like a very basic, like for people who need like a starter idea of how to make a figure. Use already an existing base, like a huge skull,
yeah.
and try to cover it.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, very good.
That's such a smart idea also. And of
Yeah.
course, that gives you a little bit of sculpturing basis to work from. And then, of course, you can expand on that. And once you've mastered this kind of sculpturing piece, I think you can certainly start transitioning into something more elaborate, maybe. So yeah, very good starting point. And I think it's also smart
Yeah.
to put it in and showcase it a little bit for people so they understand you can start off with something like this, cover up, create eyes, frame it elegantly, very shiny, of course.
Nobody needs to see the back of it.
Absolutely. Nobody needs to see the back of it.
I
There's
mean, you
nothing
can
to.
honestly jump through it pretty easily, so they can definitely see the back of it if they want to.
But you mustn't. I mean, it's like peeking behind the curtain, right? I have that's also something that I kept saying to people while I was touring houses. Sometimes, people are very good at blocking off, and sometimes I just walk towards it and check if there's no hidden passage, because some of you guys have trained me to look for hidden passages. Um, and so that's why I sometimes go close and have a look. Is it really blocked off? But I tend to not go further than that, because then you're peeking behind the curtain. And it's also the reason why I tend not to go into the editor, because it kind of, for me, takes a little bit away from the magic.
I'll be back in 1 minute, by the way.
Mm, I think it's just I think, at least it's my feel, that when you I mean, you can, of course, go into the editor, and sure, people, and I have done it in a few streams when it was really curious as to what an item was, or what was utilized to create a specific look. Then you can certainly go about and check in the editor what it is. But I also tell people to just go visit themselves if they can, and check it out themselves. That way, they not only see it on my stream, but they can also then go about and have a look themselves, and discover maybe a few more things that maybe I've missed. And it's a I think I like that approach a little bit more, because I kind of want to trick the audience into coming to your builds and see them for themselves. Such a little magnificent.
Was the last one the skeleton, or was there another one in
This
there?
one, we do have the wonderful. We were talking about these before.
Oh yeah, this is my oldest existing build.
Oh wow!
But still up in a house.
Oh my!
Like the dragon is obviously older, but the hedge dragon, but that one is like moved into a storage house.
I so
This
love
one is
this.
made from... Yeah, this is all made from, like, the chameleons at least are all made from the same item, because it was for a contest where they added multi-crafting. So you could use up to 3 items, but every item that you use, you had to craft at least 100 times.
Oh my!
So me, a little cheapskate builder at the time, because I was a huge noob, crafted only the most cheapest item you could craft, and those were these bedrolls.
But they're perfect
So
for
the eyes are
this.
the pillows.
I absolutely love it. It's so cute, also, and certainly a wonderful approach at sculpturing and creating these wonderful chameleons. And I think everybody can see them. It's not like you have to explain what they are, right? I think people would understand from looking at it. And it's such an
Yeah, I thought they
interesting,
were camouflaged.
I think it's such also a wonderful approach, like having a little bit of a challenge with a competition, and
Yeah.
really tickles a little bit of the creativity, I think, for people. Maybe it was for
it's
you too.
similar to Shop, which is like the Ebenhard Chateau. When we'll visit that, I'll elaborate more. But like where you had to, there wasn't a theme, but the theme is more like how you have to apply a certain rule. So here it was, you have to use the same item that's craftable 100 times at least.
Yeah.
And there it was like use these 8 random items into your build and try to use them most creatively. And I kind of like those kind of challenges because though actually the last round of job was really difficult. That was the one I built in 3 days.
Oh my.
I talked about it really.
Mhm.
It was, but the thing is, like the deadline of it kept getting extended, so it was actually like months long. But I just couldn't get past some of the items.
Oh.
For example, the Orcish gazebo was in there, and I thought, okay, I'll flip it and I'll have a floor. I don't want to have an Orcish gazebo, and it's just an Orcish gazebo. I think if you go with that mindset into a contest like Chop, you already lost. You know, you need to use the item
Yeah.
creatively.
Absolutely.
So I tried to use them as floors, but then it turned out, for example, they have a small invisible wall, so you can't use them as floors.
Oh my. Oh, true. Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah.
Um.
So that sort of thing kept blocking me because I knew, oh, I want to make a city because I had to use these windows and I can make flats out of them and I can make a dinosaur with these items. But like, some of them were like really, really difficult. And I mean, I did build parts of them earlier before the 3 days. Like I had like certain elements that were very easy.
Right.
Like there's an eye monster in there. I mean, that's like done in 5 minutes, to be honest. Um, you had to use the close stock, uh, the Darkshade close stock. So it's just a tentacle monster. It's not difficult to make a tentacle monster.
Still, I mean, you're saying it's not difficult to make, but for you, the approach to creatures comes a little bit more naturally. But I will agree that, a little bit of a challenging competition in the sense that you have to use, as for the chameleons here, a specific item 100 times. You have to craft it at least 100 times, or you have to use a set amount or a specific set of items that absolutely have to appear creatively in the build. I think that is a very nice challenge because, as you say, it means you have to turn things around and play with them and see what they can be and how you can use them. And
Yeah.
of course, that takes time, right? It takes
There,
time.
for example, sorry.
Now, I was just saying that, of course, this takes a little bit more time, and then, of course, you can be getting closer to the deadline of the competition. I'm not sure if deadlines are something that help you to finish. For some people, it's
Yeah, I do
perfect.
need deadlines to finish. Too often have I maybe started the day before. For example, I forgot to include this one. It also has creatures, but the enchanted, not enchanted, the witch house.
Ah,
My brain is already busy.
the exercised
For example,
coven cottage.
that for example, I started that the day before. I'm still like, why? Why did I do that? Um,
Reasons, of course, reasons.
like I, if like I've, with for example that Enchanted Grove contest, I started like weeks in advance, and I still didn't end up finishing it. So I mean, maybe I do need a bit more than just deadlines.
Mm.
Um,
And
but yeah.
motivation.
Oh, this is what I wanted to mention earlier. Like Jared had a contest where you had to make flowers, but you
Oh,
weren't allowed to use any organic material. So you can't like make a flower out of mushrooms or other flowers.
yeah.
And I always like to just think of the dumbest thing I can make for those kind of contests. Because like again, you need to stand out. And like these were more like screenshot kind of contests. Like he visits them, but it's not like it needs to be a whole snapshot build. So I made Blossom for Pokemon.
Oh,
So that's technically a flower. I don't think she won.
but
But
still,
I do really like the interpretation of like, I mean, okay, I have to make a flower. Here's the blossom out of bricks. Some elsewhere carpets, I think. Pillows, red card pillows. And it's just like an easy build to make in like a day. Not too complicated.
but interesting also because if you're not allowed, again, I love these kinds of challenges because they really teach you something about your skills and they can help you grow in forgetting what an item is named or what an item is supposed to be, because that's what it is named from the developers and designers, and start looking for shapes and colors, and then use your own creative energy to create something that fits the theme, right? As you were saying, a flower. And I have visited, I think also for the Enchanted Grove retreats, a snack pod where a little dwemer was trying to upkeep a flower garden that was clearly very dwemer. So a lot of mechanical pieces and clockworky pieces used to create flowers. And the
From moving.
yeah, that was really sweet because
That one's great.
of
Clockwork flower shop. Yeah, that one's really nice.
that was so sweet because utilizing very different items that can still function, can still evoke an image that can be recognized as a flower. I think there's absolutely a lot of room for creative exploration. And I really like that approach. And as seen here with the chameleons, that is a very nice approach. And you maybe you saw chameleons right away with all the wonderful bedrolls in your hands, or maybe that's not the first thing that came to mind for you when you were building this one.
I mean, I think I was most inspired to just like, I knew the item was going to be bedrolls. What can I make out of these bedrolls? Because I'm not going to use them more. Like somebody actually crafted 100 of like elsewhere purple structure items.
Oh my.
I don't remember exactly. I don't remember if it was it was like one of those large craftable items. I think one of those dungeon walls.
Oh my.
My cheap ass noob could never, because like I'm crafting from bedrolls. But I really like, sometimes you just really look at the item and think of like, what can I creatively make with this item, instead of like, oh, how can I make this item and what items do I need? And I think that's what's here. I really like the eyes because like the bedroll is like basically two-sided. You have the underside and the top side of the pillow.
Oh.
So the eyes are the only side where the pillow side is showing.
Oh, that's also very nice. Yeah, very good touch. I also really like that not only do you have, the very typical faces, but you also have the bodies and the little feet, and they have their mouths open, and there's a little tail as well. And it's very recognizable. And I really love that you paid so much attention to exactly that detail, that just in the eye, to sculpture the eye, to tease it out. And this is also something so recognizable with chameleons, right? This very particular to these beings, the way in which they move, of course, and to have them stand out in this way is very elegant and unique. Really appreciate this.
Yeah.
It's
And
really
my
sweet.
skeleton isn't also like a build that's only like made up out of like one item.
The shrooms! I love the
Yeah.
shrooms. Look, everybody,
And
the
this is from a
shrooms!
monster contest.
It's, when I saw that the first time,
Inside of us all along.
I was like, yes, shrooms! Happy! It's so
And
sweet.
this is the one that I put into that necromancer cave. I was like,
Oh,
take this one. Like I'm gonna build something new.
it's so perfect. I love that. This is so sweet. And also, of course,
Yeah.
it's a wonderful contribution and it also goes to show what you can do with these marvelous shrooms. And these shrooms appear in your Earthwire Sanctuary as well. It's just I'm so
Oh yeah, for the snails. Yeah, for the snails.
the snails. Yeah.
Yeah, the snake used the blue ones,
Yeah.
but I used them for the sea dragon. This is the same item as I used for the sea dragon.
Oh, true. Yeah. And the way in which they're placed, it really helps with the scaliness. And I think the sea dragon, I think I looked at it a few times from different angles and stayed much longer in there because it's also the way in which you placed it. I think that the water does add a lot to the dragon and adds a little bit more tangible feel to it, and it becomes a little bit more menacingly because it's lurking in the depth and just waiting to pounce, and it really stands out and is such a nice touch with those wonderful shrooms. Yeah, I could stare at it forever. It's so fun.
Yeah, I just really like the use of the clonus. It's like a run and oh my god, what's the English word? A röntgenfoto. One of those doctor. They put you in a machine, and then you see your skeleton.
Oh,
Electric
Röntgen. Yeah.
I can pronounce it at the moment.
Yeah. An X-ray machine, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, X-ray machine. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, Röntgen has invented them. That's why it's named after him.
Yeah,
So,
that was the title. I think you see it in the Moonship van Röntgen. I entered this in a German guild.
ah,
The alt account was coincidentally on
is really hilarious. I really love it. Yeah, Röntgen, of course, X-ray is, and I also you titled it. I think there was a wonderful title to it. That was
I
hilarious.
think you should always have, if you enter a screenshot contest, you should have a title. Like,
The monster
I
in
really try to
us.
push people to add titles because also they're usually posted on Discord. And
Oh,
if you
true.
don't have a title, it will blend in with the previous person.
Good point.
Let's see. Like it will be immediately like less noticeable if you don't have a title.
Yeah.
So, sometimes if people, I think nowadays, if somebody doesn't have a title, I just add an emoji or
Aw.
something as the title just to have that space filled up. Because otherwise it looks like you posted 2 pictures in a row instead of like 2 separate entries. But also
Ah.
titles add like that little bit of context that will make it like a bit more funnier.
Yeah,
Uh,
true. And this one certainly does. The monster within us. We have it all, everybody.
Yeah.
If you're
Like a skeleton is within us. It was a monster contest. Like it's literally inside. Everybody has a
Yeah,
skeleton inside of them.
absolutely. It's so hilarious. I love that. It's also such a nice play and very whimsical. And I do like approaches like that because they make you giggle, they make you laugh about things,
Yeah.
and
Somebody once made can't remember what the theme was, but they made that everything is fine meme with the dog in the burning house. And obviously it's really funny. Like, is it the most beautiful aesthetic screenshot ever? No, but it is funny.
and
And most
hilarious.
people who also live on the internet, like people who play an MMO, will recognize that one dog meme. But like one person didn't get it, and he was so salty that he did not win, and this
Oh dear.
meme entry won. But like, you need to stand out, and you need to appeal to the masses, basically. And he left angrily,
Oh dear.
which doesn't upset me because like if you're being salty about somebody else winning and you leave, I'm like, sure,
Grow up.
do that.
Just grow up.
It's
Is
really a lot of trouble, to be honest, if you
Mhm.
walk yourself out.
But I
Um,
will say, I think that particularly these things that make people giggle and make people laugh, and
I need
uh,
as well.
they are so fun, and it's so important that we keep that alive as well. I mean, there are lots of serious builds out there that, in a sense, serious. They do have, a philosophical side to them that give you pause and make you think and can be rather heady. But I think there needs be also something a lot more fun so that everybody has a laugh and enjoys them and
Yeah,
can
like
appreciate that.
funny brings up positive feelings, and then they associate the positive feelings with your
Yeah.
entry. It's just like I will always just. I think my favorite theme interpretation that I did will always be the Trojan horse for a gift contest.
Yeah, it's
I
absolutely funny. It's
It's
perfect.
like also like one like it like I can send you a screenshot later if I find any.
Perfect.
Um, but it was also very Christmassy for some reason. But like most people will just make a gift, like a box with a bow. So you're already making something that's different from the rest.
Yeah.
And it will stand out. Like I also once, but another one that I did, I had a lot of joke entries earlier in my competitive career. I'm doing those bunny ears with career. Um, uh, and it was arena. You had like multiple arena contests. So Jhart did one, and my trading guild did one. So I entered the same entry in both of them, but that was fine to do.
Right, yeah.
Um, I made a pillow fort. I made a pillow fighting arena.
That's perfect. I love that.
Because at the time, and you had like the only structure items that were really out there were Eleanor, Eleanor
Oh my.
stairs. All of so it wasn't as bad as with Jared because that is advertised to people who do housing. So you had somebody who did, that Harry Potter. I forgot the English word again. With the balls and the rings. Fort?
Quidditch?
Quidditch, yeah.
Like you had a Quidditch arena. You had like those kind of entries. So that one had a couple of fun like themes as well. So it wasn't just an arena, it was a fun arena of something you kind of recognize or relate to. Or like one person did like horse jousting. And, you're already doing a little new spin on it. That's fun. And with the trading guild, it was like White Eleanor Arena. White Eleanor Arena. One Elsewhere Staircase Arena. Ooh. Another White Eleanor Arena. Uh, and like there weren't a ton of entries, but I was last. And then I show up with a pillow fighting arena. And it
Perfect.
doesn't exist anymore. I think maybe Jhart should have a screenshot on his site of it. But you had those cowering statues from Cold Harbor. I just like handed like the arena was made out of beds.
It's
Uh,
perfect.
and I put like pillows into those cowering statues' hands. And like I put like one cowering under the bed and
As you
thing, and
would if somebody
hiding
has
around.
thrown a pillow at you, of course.
Yeah.
And also, this is
And it's just funny. Like
it's funny
it's
and it's also
it's
movement as
different.
well. Yeah, it's
Like
different.
Like, and I think I struggle like currently the most with housing is that like back in those days there weren't a lot of people who built creatures and miniatures and stuff like that. So I find it much harder to like make something original like that again.
Mm.
Also, there aren't like middle tire contests that are like easy to enter. It's always like really big contests or like
Mm.
really small contests. And I like sometimes feel like just like a middle ground.
Yeah, it would be good. Yeah, is I
Yeah.
think so. It's I think also a little bit of a funding thing because some I think have very large pools and thus can host huge events, and then it's just large, right? And then, of course, you have smaller guilds or smaller groups that start competitions. And of course, they don't have as much sources for prizes, for prize money. And so pools much smaller, and thus the competition becomes smaller as well. And again, that's going back for me to motivation. How do we get people motivated to enter competitions? Even if there's not a huge pool, like how do we get that message across that entering a competition, that is already the prize, that is already the achievement?
Yeah, definitely.
So I mostly said build for Jared at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and like now I'm just not really keeping up with contests.
Mm-hmm.
Like another one I did. I had a lot of humor ones. A school contest. So I made a gym room in the middle of a dodgeball game. So again, you had a towering statue that had like several flying Khajiit, those Khajiit knitting balls
It's
around him.
hilarious.
And another one looks like he's throwing stuff. That's why I'm also used them for the pillow fort. So he had a little scoreboard and he had a trophy case and he used like limestones to make like the lines for the
It's
for the
hilarious.
floor.
Yeah.
And you had a New Year's resolution one. Oh no, wait. First he had a pumpkin contest, and I made like pumpkin Jack. I
Oh,
called him. So I made a pumpkin that was like really buff.
oh
Made a
my.
who was like was he the buff? He was like lifting weight. I think I can try to find that one.
I think I remember
Uh,
that.
and he used that picture to promote another contest, and it was called um New Year's Eve resolutions, and it could also be broken resolutions. So I used the same pumpkin, but now he was like um in like a trash heap with
Oh
like a
dear.
bottle in his hand
Oh
and with a
no.
pizza on the floor. And now a giant pumpkin was like his beer belly.
Oh dear. Perfect. I love that.
Uh,
Also, that's again evolution, right? Or transitioning one
yeah.
design into another is that's fantastic. Also, very whimsical and a very fun approach to housing, and I think we need more of that. And so my question would be to you, is there any way in which we can help facilitate that, drawing more attention to this and maybe helping facilitate these kinds of competitions to reappear maybe? So that a more fun approach rather than, oh, we're aiming for a very large pot, for instance, um, could be facilitated. Is there anything that we can try doing or helping in facilitating that?
I mean, I think the best place for people who should do those are probably streamers who, yeah, like they usually get like stream team code. Um, and I think those are usually the type of contests that um, are more middle-sized. But I haven't
Mm.
seen them in a while. Maybe I just haven't been paying attention because I haven't been as active. Because I'm honestly, here's the tea. I've been cheating on ESO with RuneScape lately. Um, but those were usually like a lot of like that's why I said like a lot of them are from J Hard.
Mm.
Um, a lot of like mid tires in size, like not in quality of course, in size type of contest because they had a few codes to give away and they usually had like not a ton of gold, like not 150 million. but maybe like 10 million or something.
Yeah.
Write it.
Moderate
And I would get
amounts.
like 40 entries. And I think, yeah, those kind of contests. But like I can say that somebody should organize them because
Yes.
obviously that's not up to me.
Mm-hmm. No, but it's a good point to make because, of course, what we can definitely do is raise awareness for it and try to maybe talk among streamers because some of us do communicate with each other. And so there is a way in which we can help facilitate something like that. So that's why I'm asking if there is any way that we can help create the space and help rekindle maybe that particular part of the housing community or housing competitions in a fun way.
I mean, I'm not sure. Like somebody just needs to do it. To be honest,
Somebody
like,
just needs to do it right. Good.
like somebody just needs to decide. Like, I want to be that person who. That's weird. I did not save this. I put it in the Discord group chat. I didn't. I saved the other picture, but this one pops up. I find it really odd. Huh? This is not the one I saved. I mean, I still want what I was looking for. That's so weird.
This is so funny.
No, I have.
I think you showed me this
like this maybe. That if it's the other one is visible.
I think we were talking about like a messy
Yeah,
band.
no, this one I was trying to link, but if I save it, it shows up as the other one. That's so weird. How does that work?
That's weird, yeah.
Like now I posted the second one with the link, like to the picture. So the one below was first. I'm not sure if anybody else is seeing them. I don't think so. Sorry, people. And then I morphed it into the other one. But these are also like very cheap builds. They don't take a lot of time. There's not like a super high expectation that you're going to make the most amazing builds, you know?
I mean, but still
But I think for me personally, because I run a guild, I just don't have the time anymore to enter like really small contests for like a few 100K because I need to trade to like make money and stuff for the guild and
yeah. And
do those kind of things. So I don't really just have the time for these anymore. But I had a lot of fun with some of these entries. Can I find? Oh, I had a really fun nightmare screenshot. Everybody thought was edited, but it was actually 2 candles. That was really weird.
I did add them in just now. Let me just find them.
Yeah, I really miss my old hard drive. Obviously it's broken. I mean, maybe I could still retrieve them, but I lost like all my old screenshots. I'm really just looking up all the pictures.
There, this one. I think it should be on screen now.
Yeah, that one.
Now everybody else can also see it on screen.
I just love his thumb face so much.
It's so hilarious. It's so wonderful.
It's like a Nordhorn, that's the mouth.
It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
Hair.
And the backpack.
It's just a bull with a fan.
Yeah.
The eyebrows. I love the eyebrows.
Yeah, it's so fantastic. And such a lovely idea and such a lovely approach and fun, whimsical, very a different non-serious approach to housing. And I think that is really important to highlight as well, that housing can be very, very fun with builds like this. And of course, we should show this one.
If I could, like, we had that small business contest. If I could have entered it, obviously I can't enter my own contest when I run the vote. I would have made like just a banana stand and called it monkey business. It's like a really easy idea.
Yeah, of course. And again, you approach it with such a different, way with a lot of humor to it, with a lot of whim, and just hilarious approaches that make people giggle and laugh. And I think that's just wonderful and such a nice, refreshing approach. And maybe, it has been there in the past, but maybe it's not been all that much seen lately. And I think that's important to highlight as well, to draw people's attention also to the idea.
But I think humor is also something that you shouldn't expect. Like that's like I didn't really like that the toilet contest I named like 4 hours earlier. What a long callback. Because the idea that you're going to make a toilet should already be funny in itself, and you
Yeah.
can't be diverse with it. Like with the pillow fight fort arena, it's subversive, and that's why it's funny. And if the theme is already like make something funny, then it's going to be less funny.
Maybe, yeah. Because then, of course,
So,
it's a different approach. Yeah. Yeah, I hear
like
you.
for the small business contest, I think one entry I really liked was oh yes, here's another one I found. Was somebody who made a bar and it was just filled with scuttle blooms, and it was just so funny. Like it was also really cute, like scuttle blooms, just like with like cocktails with like drinking from a pineapple or something, and like those kind of things are like it's just whimsical.
Yeah, and just fun and hilarious and joyful and makes people giggle, and you don't have to, be all that serious all the time. I think there's a lot to it, to housing. You can just have a go at, is it that one? I hope it is. I'll go, no, different direction. I think there is, a lot to this whole idea of just thinking of taking a serious theme and interpreting it in a different, refreshing and funny way. There, that one. It's so funny. It's so hilarious with all the pillows and beds.
Yeah, that one had a lot more angles than just this one. And also has the moon in the background.
Yeah, and of course. And, it becomes very obvious and clear what it's supposed to be, right? And I think that it takes Arena to a different level. And of course, not everybody would think about a pillow fight when they read Arena, right? So I think that's thinking outside the box and taking a theme to a different place. And I think that's so valid and so important to highlight. Of course, it's not always going to be everybody else's approach, but that's what makes it stand out.
Yeah, well, like with the Enchanted Retreat contest, I had such a hard time thinking of an original way to make an Enchanted Grove. I wanted to do like futuristic, with like maybe a cityscape or something, but I had such a hard time just thinking of something subversive with it. But like I made these like 2019, and so little was done yet with housing that has been done since. So
Oh, yeah.
I really have a creative block regarding like what can I make that hasn't already been made.
Yeah, being
And it
unique.
also looks really good. Like these aren't perfect houses. They're not expected to be like because they're for a smaller contest. Like so, obviously some of the Eleanor staircase arenas were probably better, like more neater made than this one. Which is just like a bunch of merchant stalls with some beds thrown on it.
Yeah, but It doesn't have to be neat, right?
It's more effective because it's uniquer than the 5th out of what 8 Eleanor arenas.
Mm,
And like I don't blame anyone for making an Eleanor arena either, because like how if you would actually like some people don't like subversive themes at all. Like for maybe they like the streamer hates kind of funny builds. They really want like serious. That's their taste.
mhm.
You know, then it's fine. It's still fine to make them.
Of course,
But
of
I
course.
do think in general it helps to stand out in a contest.
Yeah, and I think it does. It's something, and this is of course the horse.
Yeah,
Everybody.
some of the entries that I usually like feel a bit sad for because they don't do as well are
Mhm.
the entries who made something that is very similar to another entry, but the other entry did it like better or bigger. So
Yeah.
they did well, but they are already compared to the other person, and because of that, they drop more down than they should have if that other person wasn't also competing.
Mm.
Also, I have an identical twin sister. Like, I need to not be compared to somebody else.
Mm. You want to stand
I don't
out.
like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Makes a lot
And
of
this is really
sense.
ironic because I'm a bit different from my sister, and we don't dress identical. That's kind of stupid. But like we do share clothes, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
So
makes
I'm not
sense.
even like I'm not fighting against the expectation of twins, but I'm also not upholding them.
No, it's. I think it can be like a mix, right? And makes sense also. And again, I think there is a lot of merit to an approach that can be a bit subversive, as you're saying. And there's a lot of merit to, classical approaches to certain themes as well. I think, everybody approaches things from their perspective, which is where Nietzsche comes back in and says all seeing is perspective, and all interpretation is true. And I think there's always a bit merit to all of that. There's always um, reasons to follow along with that. And I think that sometimes just the whimsical can get overlooked, and that's why it's so important to highlight them and to point out that these approaches exist. They are funny. They can create warm, giggly feelings for people, and that's what they want, what they can be associated with. I think
I
that's
just want to say
perfect.
like that's so stupid, but I love it. You know, I like that sort of emotion. Like, oh, that's so stupid. It's great. Like, I just love that kind of energy.
Yeah, it's
And maybe
perfect.
oh, like for example, with the holy cow. Do I? No, I didn't make it. I think that's one is in that link
Hmm.
of my 2D builds. I think the holy cow is in there.
So everybody should have the
Um,
link and can grab it there.
yeah, it's
Perfect.
like right above. There is he in there? Oh, my GP and my concept are also in there. My link, my stormtrooper. Oh yeah, the holy cow is in there. Oh, my Isabi. Oh yeah, my Isabi. That's one.
I love, I
That one
love.
was on the Big Bethesda stream once because it also was in one of J Hart's contests. I don't remember what the theme was. I'm actually very curious what the theme was. Why did I make this? Um, why? What was the theme for this? But she was showing like community. Gina was showing like community events, and because
Ah,
of that, this Isabi was shown on like the big Bethesda stream. So it was like in my noob days, like really big deal for me.
it
Um,
is.
what was this contest? Why did I make this? Oh,
I love this also that you're rediscovering a few
no.
things and wondering why. you know, in any case, no matter, because it makes people giggle, it makes people laugh, it makes people think, oh look, you can do something like that. How exciting! I think that's just wonderful to highlight that and give people a chance to think outside the box and notice that a theme can be interpreted in many different ways.
Can I find why I made this? Because that's also one of my earliest 2D. Maybe that is my first one. What was my first 2D? I think that was the Azabi, or am I out of paint juice? It could be the first. No. I know. No, Pikachu was earlier. Pikachu should definitely be earlier. I do see somebody posted it on Reddit without my permission.
Oh my.
It got 2.2k upvotes. Like, why did I not get 2k upvotes? Who posted this? Oh, never mind. It was shared himself.
But it's
Okay,
good.
well,
It's good
it
that
was
these get
in
visibility, I think.
It was in August. 2019. It will just be a mystery for now, I guess. Why did I make Asabi?
It's all right.
And so,
It can be a mystery, but it is such a beautiful Izabi. And I really love that you also set the little Izabi in front of the wonderful 2D version. I think that is really wonderful also to show.
I had to give some model credit, of course.
And show her and just make sure that people understand or see the semblances. That's so nice. Oh. Yeah, I would encourage people to have a look at the wonderful forum post. I did link it. I hope that people are finding it well and can have peruse around and enjoy and find all the wonderful, beautiful beings there. It's just so fantastic.
Like, what was the theme? I'm not gonna get stuck on it. Like, I feel like I sort of need to find out before I go to bed.
This
And
is
I
a
should go to
mystery
bed.
now, everybody. We
Why
are
did I make this?
in a little bit of a mystery. Oh, this one.
Here's January.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe it was a challenge to design something. Uh, we have to solve the mystery as to why
Yeah.
Sorries has created the little Izabi.
Like, for example, I have that Zelda moon in there. I made that because the contest was using that giant North stone head. And everybody just put stuff on his beard, so I felt like people are gonna put stuff on his beard, so I'm gonna flip him around. And then I made the Zelda moon with him. It did not pay off, but I do really think I think it looks good. I think it's one of the earliest Zelda moons out there. I think there are a lot of new ones at the moment.
I'm sure. I think that posts like these and, conversations like these help people get inspired and, yeah, find things and discover things and see what they can do. And thus, maybe more have appeared recently. Or
I
maybe
have found a really old, ugly one, but I'm not going to share that one.
that's all right. It's all right. Maybe we have to send everybody off with a mystery.
It has the year wrong, so maybe.
Thinking very hard.
Oh, the theme. Okay, this was the theme. It's so uninteresting that it's interesting. It was just a flat 2D design contest.
Oh,
But the
see?
thing is, I think I already was the inspiration for the contest because of the Pikachu.
Ah,
Gabi was the inspiration. I remember the 2D design contest, but I thought Azabi was the inspiration for the contest and not Pikachu. So, yeah, that was the mystery. A 2D contest.
a 2D contest, everybody. It's solved, the mystery.
Not a fun theme, no, just a 2D contest, and I
But,
just made 2D Azabi
you
for some
know,
reason.
that's all right. I mean,
Like, okay.
you took
I
it.
think I'm getting delirious now, so I probably already am.
No, you're not. It's just late. I mean, I'm very surprised because you two ladies are such rock stars because you held on to this and have stuck with me for almost 7 hours.
It doesn't actually feel like it.
It doesn't feel like it. You know,
I'm
I
so tired.
I mean, to me, at this point, it does, but I do like the fuse. So my batteries are on low.
oh, it's so understandable. And of course, we still have something to cover in part 2. When we come back and have a look at those glorious houses and more beautiful creatures, we can talk more about them. I'm so amazed that you two were muscling through this with me for so long.
Well, thank you for having us.
You're such rock stars. You should get a treat before you go to sleep. Give yourself a pat on the back. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that one.
I said I told her thanks for showing your houses.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear it either.
Yeah, it's
sometimes it's a bit kind of muffly sounding, just the line or whatever. But no, thank you. It was
also I'm
fun.
dried out at this point, but I'm not going to drink any more water at this point.
Yes, you know, you can drink some water still, or find something to soothe the throat a little bit because you must conserve the voice a little bit. And do relax. Hope you are going to sleep well, both of you, and everybody else who's still with us. Is very amazing that you stuck with me for so long. I think you've stuck with me longer than the ladies in my first designer special. This has been my distinct pleasure, and I'm so amazed, and I can't wait for part 2. We'll talk and reschedule and find a date that works for all. And everybody, with this, we shall all bid you a very fond good night.
Night night.
Right.
Sleep tight, everybody. See you next time.